He's got the hand in the air. Down comes the hand. And here comes Carney's kickoff. And it's high. And it's deep. 8 yards deep. And Sennett fails to field it. It goes over the end line. It's an automatic touchback. And the Panther offense will start 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line.
I started to say a moment ago, Bill, that I called the NCAA this week to see how often this year coaches have taken advantage of that new rule that allows them to put off the choice on the coin toss till the second half. Amazingly, they didn't know. They said, we haven't been keeping track. What are they doing down there? It's a new rule.
I understand that the ECAC is keeping track, but it's awfully difficult for the press box to get word as to which way the coin toss went. The Panthers deploy Stennett to the right as a flanker, Wallace to the left. McIntyre will start as a single setback at fullback for Pitt. So the Panthers have receivers to both sides, 2 tight ends, and the single setback McIntyre runs into a pretty good wall of tacklers as he comes forward for about 3 yards to the 23-yard line. Notre Dame's defensive charge led by their tackles Mike Gann at 256 pounds and John Autry at 246 pounds.
The left side of the Pitt line had appeared to move well on Eric Dorsey, and he's a big, strong defensive lineman, just a sophomore, but a real test for the opposition across the line, and they had appeared to move him out of there, but got short yardage on the play.
Darrell Clark is in as a flanker right for Pitt. Split end to the short side. On the left side is Wallace. On 2nd and 7, draw play. Bailey spins through there and gets out near the 28-yard line. Mark Bailey behind the block by Clint Wilson, and the other tight end on the other side, Pat Chapani, gets forward and is hit by Mike Gann and dropped. Now they're going to place the football at the 28-yard line, a gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Panthers at their own 28. No score, just underway.
And on that play, Mike Durando, the left guard, did eliminate Dorsey. He did a good job on him. He dumped him, and so there was a nice hole for that play, and it's 3rd down and a short 2.
Panthers go with 1 tight end. He's strong to the right side. Receivers to both sides out of the eye. Pitch back on 3rd and 2. And Joe McCall knifes in there, gets more than the first down, gets out across the 31 to the 32-yard line where linebacker Rick Naylor brings him down. Jim Sweeney with a whale of a block to open the hole wide for McCall and the Panther first down.
Nicely executed trap play by the Pitt Panthers, so they're out to their 32-yard line. A sparkling day in South Bend. We're just underway. It's a scoreless ball game.
Jim Sweeney threw a nice block, and the hole opened wide for McCall, and he got more than enough for the first down. He picked up 4 out to the 32. Pat Chapani lines up as a tight end right. The Panthers again go with a single setback. Receivers everywhere. Out from the 32 on first down. Jimmy wants to pass. The pass is incomplete. Running laterally at the 41-yard line, Chapani falls down. Coverage by linebacker Tony Perjanik. The pass is incomplete, and the clock stops at 13-13. First quarter here in front of 59,000 plus. The exact figure for their 53rd consecutive sellout for Notre Dame is 59,075. And all over the campus yesterday and today, you see people holding up cardboard signs written with crayon, "I need tickets." 2nd down, 10 from the 32 for the Panthers. No score, just underway. Loose football. Kajemi back. Kajemi falls on the football at the 29. We got tempers flaring. Big Mike Gann was going at it with one of the Panther offensive linemen, Barry Pettyjohn. Mike Golick and Freilich were going at it. And the ball is dead at the 29 for a loss of 3 yards on the fumbled snap. So it's 3rd down and 13. You do not want to face Notre Dame's defense with this sort of situation, 3rd and 13.
That's right. And Ace Conjemi never got a handle on that snap. And he was juggling the ball around back there, and luckily he fell on it.
Wide side of the field is to the right. Nickel defense for Notre Dame on 3rd and 13. Here come the Panthers. Draw play, and they smell it out, and down goes Mark Bailey for a loss of 1. Back to the 28-yard line. He might have been down at the 27. Let's see where they spot the football. It appears to be a 2-yard loss, and it is 4th and 15. Autry made the tackle on Mark Bailey, and the Panther punt team is on. Tony Magnelli, the long snapper, is out over the ball. Recchia, the Panther punter, so far this year has averaged 41.3 yards per punt. Notre Dame with 10 men on the line of scrimmage, which is the 27-yard line. Snap is true. Recchia with time against the breeze, kicks the spiral. Joe Howard ranges under at his own 36, signaled very late for the fair catch, and just pulled it in. Barely had time to get his hand back down to catch the football, but he did. And in a scoreless game, Notre Dame with good field position has a 1st and 10 at their own 30, we'll call it the 37-yard line.
Not a real good kick by Recchia, 36 yards, but again, he's kicking into a fairly stiff breeze. So Notre Dame is at their 36-yard line. Pretty decent field position for openers.
Center Mike Kelly comes out over the football. Freshman quarterback Steve Berline is behind him. Tim Quent starting at left defensive tackle for Pitt. Notre Dame out of the I formation. Howard split ride to the right side from the 37. Pitch back to the right side, Pickett. He tries to turn the corner. The Panthers are there, and he is hit hard by Tom Flynn and also Troy Hill. And they drop him after an advance of about a half yard. We'll call it a yard for stat purposes out to the 38. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Linebacker Caesar Aldisar drifting left to meet the play was eliminated nicely by a Notre Dame block, but Troy Hill was playing good run support, so the gain is a mere yard.
Dennis Attia in at nose guard for Pitt, replacing Bob Shilkin now. They'll alternate quite a bit. 2nd and 9, Notre Dame from its own 38. Scoreless game just underway first quarter with 11:22 left, Notre Dame's first possession. Berline, draw play to Pickett. He slips it out to the right side, gets about 4 yards, maybe 3 out to the 41, where he's tackled by strong safety Ray Weatherspoon. Pickett that time on the bounce play tried to turn the corner, and a good job by Weatherspoon to shut it down for a short gain. Call it a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Notre Dame operate from its own 41-yard line. And now Shilkin back in at middle guard for the Panthers.
And if 2 plays indicate a pattern, and they don't, the Panthers today are hitting good. They're hitting sure.
Wide side of the field is to the left. Notre Dame operates left to right in the first quarter, scoreless. Howard to one side, Jackson split to the other. Out of the I formation, Notre Dame 3rd and 6 from its own 41. Berline back to pass, has a lot of time. Fires over, and it's almost picked off at the 42-yard line. The intended receiver was Chris Smith, the fullback. Coming across the field was Ray Weatherspoon, almost intercepting. The ball was wide of Spoon, and now the Notre Dame punt team is on. They tried to set something up on the left side. I think it might have been a screen pass, but it just didn't go.
Somebody got a hand on that ball, either Wenglakowski or Bill Moss, but they deflected that pass from its course.
Kevin Kelly is the long snapper, not Mike Kelly, the first-string center. Kevin Kelly will long snap. Blair Keel is the punter. Keel on the season, averaging slightly better than 40 yards per punt. Remember, Blair Keel is also a quarterback. Line of scrimmage will be the 41. Keel with time. Rides the punt into the breeze. And the Panthers, Tommy Flynn is back there, and he didn't indicate fair catch. He's out to the 25 up. They say, what are they going to say here? A penalty flag is down. Did he indicate for a fair catch, or did he not? And there is going to be some kind of discussion.
Well, Kevin Kelly was down there. In fact, he had fallen, and he was seated right next to Flynn, apparently thinking that Flynn had signaled fair catch. I'm not sure, Bill. I really am not. I don't believe I saw him indicate anything like a fair catch, but let's see if...
I don't know what they're saying, Myron, but...
Darn, I looked to the monitor, our television monitor, an instant too late.
Now they say interfering with a fair catch against Notre Dame is the call, and it was long snapper Kevin Kelly who did it. There's a break in the first quarter action. We'll be right back.
When you're heading for the mountains...
Did not indicate fair catch. Instead, he was interfered with by the man who snapped the ball, Kevin Kelly. In college football, you must give the receiving man on the punt team a chance to catch it. I believe the distance is 2 yards. He did not, obviously. But the question is, did the whistle blow? Flynn didn't think so, took off downfield, and they whistled the play down. The ball will be spotted at the 39-yard line of Pitt. Now, will it be spotted there because of a penalty assessed Notre Dame? But the thing is, and I think the argument for Flynn is, why did you blow the play dead?
Well, you know, however this turns out, I think it's another example of Flynn using his head, because even though his punt return does not count, and apparently it doesn't, you know, he figured, what the heck, I'll go with that football, see what happens. He's a sharp ball player, but the ball is spotted at the 39-yard line, and that's where Pitt will get underway.
So what they're ruling is a 5-yard penalty, and the ball is out to the 39. They did mark off 15-yard penalty out to the 39-yard line. It is a major penalty for interfering with a fair catch. Scoreless game. The Panthers on their second possession, 1st and 10 from the 39. Kajemi back time over the middle. Pass complete. With the football is tight end Pat Chapani, and he's got it out to the 47-yard line. We pause now for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Try the delicious new clam dinner at Winkies, complete with French fries and coleslaw for only $1.99. Now at Winkies. WTAE, Pittsburgh.
They ruled tight end Pat Chapani, the freshman from Upper St. Clair, down at the 46 after picking up 7 yards on the pass reception. 2nd and 3 for Pitt from that point. Kangemi with a single back offense, and he goes to that single back, and that's Mark Bailey straight ahead behind, good blocking out to about the 50-yard line. He may have penetrated the 50-yard line and gotten slightly into Notre Dame territory. He does, ever so slightly, but we'll call it the 50. The entire center of the Notre Dame defense made the tackle. Autry, Gann, and Perjanik were all there, but it is a first down at midfield for the Panthers after the 4-yard pickup for Mark Bailey.
We've got a scoreless ball game early in the first period. That is the Panthers' second first down.
9:35 left of the initial period. Again, single setback for Pitt. Kangemi goes to the audible. Notre Dame switches its defensive deployment. The give is to Bailey. He goes through a hole, plows straight ahead into the 45 to the 44-yard line where Rick Naylor upends Marlon McIntyre. The Panthers again changing their fullbacks, and that is Marlon McIntyre who goes out of the ball game, and Mark Bailey goes in. But it was a good pickup off the right side from the 50 into the 44 for 6. It's 2nd down 4.
And this Notre Dame defense is 15th in the country in defense against the rush, but Pitt is saying, hey, we're going to try it today. Pitt is running that football.
6-yard gain to the 44 of Notre Dame. Deepest penetration for either ball club so far in the game. Kangemi back on 2nd down. He's throwing it deep down the left sideline. Wallace cuts in front of the man, and we've got a Panther touchdown. Wallace beat Pat Ballage, the cornerback, who was going back. The ball was underthrown. Ballage fell down. Coming in front at about the 8-yard line, it was Wallace, and Wallace just streaked into the end zone. A 44-yard touchdown pass. Kangemi to Wallace. The Panthers on top.
And down around the 10-yard line, Ballage may even have been holding Wallace, who said, no, sir, you cannot do that. I won't permit you. He tore himself loose, and he took it into the end zone, but we have a flag on the play. And that may be what it's about, but it's a touchdown.
And a marker is down, and I believe the Notre Dame sideline may be guilty of an unsportsmanlike infraction. Let's see what referee John Nealon of the Big Ten indicates. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Notre Dame. It will be assessed on the kickoff. So the Panthers now will be going for the extra point try, and Pat Viancourt is out there, the left-footed sidewinder, the freshman walk-on, the hero of last week's Pitt-Syracuse game that the Panthers won 13-10 on the strength of Viancourt's left leg. Kangemi to Wallace, 43 yards, and the Panthers are on the board. 44 yards, actually, is the official measurement of the touchdown length. Kangemi will hold for the left-footer Viancourt on the extra point try. The ball's on the tee. The kick, knuckleball's up, and it's no good. It appeared to go outside the right upright. 6-0. The Panthers lead it. 8:44 left of the first quarter. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Dear Atari, I started selling the new 5200 Super System from Atari here in my store. Customers love the Super System's new colors and graphic resolution. They also love the pause switch that instantly stops all the action. Oh, the 5200 Super System is the closest home video has ever gotten to real arcade gameplay. Even the controller has everything in one place. I just have one question. Does Atari have to make the 5200 Super System this exciting?
Available at all area Murphy's Marts.
So the Pitt Panthers take an early 6-0 lead over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Watching the replay of the touchdown pass, we saw that Ballage, when Wallace put an inside move on him, moving into the center of the field, that is toward the center of the field, Ballage simply fell down. He was not able to cover him on that move. So Wallace checks in with another touchdown pass for the Pitt Panthers. He's been something this year.
The Panthers lead at 6-0 and deploy the kickoff coverage team. Left to right across the field, a lot of first-teamers. Melvin Dean, Ray Weatherspoon, Tom Flynn, Darrell Clark, Bill Sapio, Reggie Smith, Bill Callahan, Troy Hill, Billy McCormick, Keith Tinsley, and the kicker is Pat Viancourt, who has just missed an extra point, and that's why the score is 6-0. Panthers lead. 8:44 left first quarter.
And that was the 5th touchdown catch of this season for Bill Wallace.
That is the first missed extra point of the year for the Panthers.
Foge was saying that this kid Viancourt inherited a lot of unused shoes because all his predecessors were right-footed, and they just didn't use the left shoe very much. And he said, oh, that kid's got 18 left shoes now.
And he happens to wear the same size as the guys who preceded him, Eric Schubert and Mark
Schubert. That's why. Size 8, but he's too big for a size 8. I'm a 7, and I'm a runt. How can he all those guys only wear an 8? But, of course, he, Foge was referring to kicking shoes. He says he's got 18 unused kicking shoes.
Now the Panthers are ready to go. The Panthers lead this contest 6-0, driving 61 yards in 4 plays. The big one, Congemi to Wallace, who beat the cornerback when Ballage fell down. Wallace came inside, took it, and went into the end zone for the 44-yard touchdown reception. For Congemi, that is his 9th touchdown pass of the year. Here comes Viancourt's left-footed kickoff. It's high and it's deep. And it's fielded 9 yards deep. Remember, it was kicked by Viancourt from the opposing 45-yard line after the 15-yard penalty was assessed for unsportsmanlike conduct. Now the crowd becomes a bit animated. Notre Dame trails 6-0 and starts 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
But putting it in the end zone will make that kid feel a little better. When he missed that extra point, he whacked himself in the helmet. He clunked himself in the head as if to say, what's the matter with you? But maybe he'll settle down.
Receivers split to both sides, out of the I. Notre Dame on 1st and 10. Pinkett dots the I. Berline steps in. Berline, draw play to Pinkett. Tries to bounce it outside. Loose football! The Panthers fall on it at the 13-yard line. Bukowski was there, but coming up with that football for Pitt is Troy Benson. And who has it? It is Troy Hill. The 2 Troys.
Troy Hill comes up with the ball after Al Wenglakowski hits Pinkett and strips the football from him. Another big play this year from Al Wenglakowski. Just a little defensive end, but the pro scouts like him. They say you can't sell that guy short. Aldershot was on top of the ball carrier, but it was Wenglakowski coming from the backside underneath, who I believe caused that football to be turned loose. Pitt at the 14-yard line.
With a 1st and 10 out of the I. Flanker right is Darrell Clark. Congemi with a long count. Congemi turns and pitches it back. McCall cuts against the grain and dives into about the 10-yard line where Notre Dame pinched it down. Janik got him and brought him down behind the block of Tony Brown. McCall got pretty good yardage, got 4, so it'll be 2nd down and 6. The Panthers can make a 1st down in the vicinity of the 4-yard line. The clock turns to 8:20 first quarter. Pitt ahead 6-0 on the touchdown pass. Congemi to Wallace. The extra point was missed. But now the Panthers are trying to get some more up on the board from the 10-yard line on 2nd down. Panthers break the huddle. I, flanker right, is again the formation. Pitch back again to McCall. Cuts it back. He's at the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Panther touchdown. Joe McCall got a good block and cut it back. Sweeney and Durando cleared the way, and McCall is into the end zone.
I'm telling you, the Pitt offensive line on that play, I mean, from end to end, they just moved that Notre Dame defense out of there like they were playing with children. So Joe McCall sails the 11 yards for the touchdown, and Pitt is on top 12-0.
Free safety Chris Brown, I believe, may be in the 2nd row. That's how far back he got pushed.
I mean,
he was on ice skates.
It was beautiful. It was like a chorus line of 260-pounders just, moving in unison, and they just swept Notre Dame out of there like minesweepers. No, that's a poor analogy. I've never seen minesweepers in action, so I can't. Oh, it was too much to describe.
Panthers looking to the sideline. Congemi looks, and it is decided that the Panthers will try to make up the missed extra point try, and will go for 2. Players being shuttled in and out, and now Congemi has to call timeout because too many players left the field. And at that point, Congemi said, we better talk this over, so the Panthers use a timeout, leading 12-0, 7:58 left of the first quarter. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Aspirin's a great pain reliever, but it can cause aspirin stomach upset. That's why Thrift Drug wants you to know about Percogesic. Percogesic with enhanced pain relievers contains no aspirin. Clinical tests prove Percogesic special formula is more effective than aspirin substitutes alone. Look for the 90-tablet size at Thrift Drug's everyday low price and get safe, effective pain relief without aspirin. For healthy savings on Percogesic and all your health and beauty needs, trust Thrift Drug.
So, all right, the Pitt Panthers taking advantage of Troy Hill's fumble recovery at the Notre Dame 14 needed. Only 2 plays, both by Joe McCall, picking up 3 yards on first down and then carrying 11 yards for the touchdown to go up on Notre Dame 12-0. Now, Pitt may be going for 2 points here, and we saw the difficulty that the freshman Biancourt had on the first extra point attempt. He missed, so it could be that the 2-point play will become a very serious part of Pitt's thinking in as many opportunities as they may have to convert this afternoon. But yes, they are going for 2 points rather than for the 1-point kick.
Split backs, 2 tight ends, a flanker right in Wallace on the 2-point try. Kangemi steps in under center. Kangemi back, rolls right, pass, complete to Bailey at the 5. Needs a block, spins into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Kangemi to Mark Bailey for 2, and the Panthers lead it 14-0. Extra effort by Bailey got him into that end zone.
I'll tell you, he hit Joe Johnson so hard at the 2-yard line that Johnson, when he tried to get to his feet, staggered like a fighter who didn't have command of his senses and then went down. It was not only Johnson, but it was also Mike Golick, the defensive end. They converged on Bailey, and Bailey says, "No, nothing's stopping me." And he banged into him, and he got into the end zone. Terrific running.
And there's a young man who wore a flak jacket all week in practice, and he did a good job putting those ribs up for exposure on the hit, but he spun out of there and somehow got in for the 2 points, and the Panthers make up for the missed extra point and lead it 14-0. A reminder to Pitt fans that it's Pitt Football Ski Cap Day next Saturday when the Panthers host Army at Pitt Stadium. The first 5,000 youngsters 16 and under at the game will receive a free Pitt Football Ski Cap, compliments of Rack's Restaurants. This is also the last game for $2 youth tickets, and they're still available in advance at any Equibank or on the day of the game at the stadium Saturday. That's Pitt Football Ski Cap Day next Saturday when the Panthers take on the Black Knights of the Hudson.
Well, a fella told me before the game, I'll save this story. Here we go.
Okay, Miller, Bell, and Jefferson all deep to receive for Notre Dame. The kickoff of Icourt is short to the 6-yard line. Out comes Alonzo Jefferson to the 10 to 20, and he's at the 30-yard line. Hit hard by Keith Tinsley at the 20-yard line and dropped at the 30, I should say. Notre Dame, good field position, trailing 14-0, 7:52 left first quarter.
Fella had told me before the game, he said the Notre Dame coaches have been tight all week. I said, "Oh, you hear that stuff?" I said, "You can't put any stock in that." If indeed they have been tight, that would, of course, be contagious and spread among their players, who are now down early, 14-0. But here go the Fighting Irish at their 30.
Out of the I, flanker right comes Berline, the freshman quarterback. Long count. From the 30-yard line on first down, he takes and rolls right. Looks, marker down. Pass complete to the tight end on the near sideline, Mark Bavero, but a marker is down back at the 32-yard line. Let's see what the call is from referee John Nealon of the Big Ten. And the indication from Nealon is offsides, Pitt. So they'll take the gain out to the 37-yard line, apparently.
That tight end Bavaro is a big one, 6'4", 246 pounds. And, of course, he takes the place of the graduated Tony Hunter, who wasn't any midget himself, a first-round draft pick in the pros.
Panthers were guilty of being offsides. It would be a 5-yard penalty and another down as opposed to a 7-yard gain. And Notre Dame says, we'll take the 1st and 5, so nullify Bavero's reception. And let's move it to the 35-yard line for a 1st and 5. We have 7:45. The clock turns first quarter. Pitt ahead 14-0. Center, Mike Kelly out over the ball for the Fighting Irish. Out of the I, flanker right to the wide side. The Irish operate on 1st and 5. Berline again with a long count. Pitt with a 5-man front. Pitt almost jumping off sides again. And this time the give is in the middle. The marker is down. We've got somebody with a football, and it's a Notre Dame man. Great Chris Smith got out there, spat out of the pile, and came through to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the Pitt 48. The marker was down. Apparently Pitt was offsides again. So Notre Dame, with their cadence, has thrown the Panthers off on 2 plays in a row. But this time, Smith got a big gainer to Pitt 48-yard line. It was Bill Moss who jumped in offsides. Spoon made the tackle for the Panthers.
Yeah, Bill Moss is in there against a tremendous Notre Dame offensive tackle. And I'm talking about Williams, Larry Williams, 6'6" and 284. And Bill Moss is in a battle with that guy today. So perhaps getting a little anxious, or then again, maybe it was the cadence. But in any case, Notre Dame has its first down, and it takes the Irish into Pitt territory at their 48.
Now we've got a penalty being marched off against Notre Dame. And this is a major penalty, so apparently Notre Dame guilty of a personal foul after the play had been run. And the indication from referee John Nealon, unsportsmanlike conduct, the Irish. There were 2 flags down. Chris Smith, the man with the football, could be the man who was guilty of an over-jubilant statement. So celebrating his big gain of 17 yards.
That's going to give them first down and 25 yards to go back at their 37-yard line.
Personal foul against Notre Dame, and I believe it was Smith who may have elbowed the man who tackled him, Ray Weatherspoon, and I believe that's the penalty call. So Notre Dame now with a first and a ton. First and Bloomington. They fake the draw to Pickett. Fire over the middle of the pass. It's dropped by Howard at the Pitt 45-yard line. Joe Howard went up for the ball. It looked like it might have been a catchable football. He couldn't hold on to it.
Troy Hill came across in front of him and may have got a piece of that football just as Joe Howard had it and was on his way. And Joe Howard, who knows but what he might have broken that all the way. There was another Pitt man downfield, but incomplete pass, so it is second down and 25.
From the 36-yard line in Notre Dame territory, 6:56 remaining first quarter. Pitt ahead 14-0. They fake the draw again. Again, Burline back to pass. A lot of time. Fires to the near sideline, dropping the football. Bavaro at the 48-yard line of Notre Dame. Bavaro just standing there waiting, trying to stay in bounds, and he just simply took his eye off the ball, anticipating a hit from Troy Hill.
Yes, I wasn't going to accuse him of hearing footsteps, but you have, so I don't have to.
Exactly.
Anticipating. That's nicely put.
Yes. It's tough to take a hit and anticipate when it's going to happen and catch the football. Pitt ahead, 14-0. Now the Panthers go with Bill Callahan in there in place of Bob Shilkin, so it's a nickel defense. Notre Dame from its own 36 on 2nd and 20, 3rd and 25. 3rd and 25. Draw play. Pickett bounces it outside, gets to the 40, still on his feet at the 45, and the Panthers hit him hard at the 48-yard line of Notre Dame. I mean, he took a rap. Troy Hill came up and hit him hard. Bill Moss was also there, but Hill really put the tackle on him, and they spot the football at the Notre Dame 48. It'll be 4th down, well short of the sticks, and the Notre Dame punt team is on. Blair Keel will be the punter for the Irish.
And the Irish are trailing 14-0 with 6 minutes and some seconds left in the first period, and now they have a chance to put Pitt in the hole for the first time today.
Pickett got 12 on the play, so it's 4th and about 13. The Irish trailing 14-0. Now about 2/3 of the field is in shadow. Heel gets the snap and delivers a high floating kick. Flynn signals for the fair catch and takes it his own 16-yard line. And so the Panthers, with a 14-0 lead, have their offense back on the field. Along the Panther Network, we're glad to have you aboard here this afternoon. WRTA in Altoona, Pennsylvania. In Everett, Pennsylvania, WSKE. In Butler, WISR. In Portage, WRML. And in Steubenville, Ohio, WLIT. It's nice to have you aboard, and thank you very much for joining us for this exciting college football game between Pitt and the Fighting Irish, both teams 6-2 coming in.
A 36-yard punt by Blair Keel. Twice he has punted today for the same distance, both times. 36 yards. Pitt at their 16-yard line. Little story about Ace Conjemi, who's down there now at quarterback. Pitt right now, he's trotting over to the sideline to talk things over with the coach.
Notre Dame has an injury that could be a factor. Their linebacker on the right side, one of their 3 linebackers, and that would be Mike Kovaleski, a freshman from Newcastle, Indiana, has an ankle problem. So into the lineup is Joe Bars, a junior from Farmington, Michigan.
You know, when Ace Conjemi, following his senior season of high school ball down in Fort Lauderdale, he was given a nice award by the Fort Lauderdale Touchdown Club, and the main speaker that night, the man who presented him with the award, was none other than Jerry Faust. He says, "Where are you going to college?" He said, "Either Michigan or Pitt." He said, "In that case, we'll be seeing one another in either case." And then he explained to him that he was going after 2 other quarterbacks. Don't feel bad, kid, blah, blah, blah.
1st and 10, Conjemi from his own 16. Off the right side, it is Marlon McIntyre, I believe, and Marlon cannot get very much. He gets about 3 yards out to the 19-yard line, where he's stacked up by Mike Griffin, who is a defensive tackle, along with Joe Bars, the man in place of Mike Kovaleski, the injured Notre Dame linebacker. They spotted at the 19, a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Pitt ahead 14-0. The Panthers got a 44-yard touchdown pass, Conjemi to Wallace, missed the extra point, Then a Pinkett fumble. Panthers at the 14, took it in 2 plays later. McCall from the 10, the 2-point conversion, Kinjemi to Bailey, and the Panthers lead it 14-0. 2nd and 7 from their own 19. Kinjemi back. Big rush, and they block the pass down, incomplete. Going high in the air to come down and knock the football down on the blitz was Rick Naylor, the linebacker. Kinjemi had no chance. They had a nickel defense set up, but they blitzed out of that, and it's incomplete. It'll set up a 3rd down and 7.
By the way, a footnote to Kinjemi's touchdown pass. That was the first touchdown pass scored on Notre Dame in 23 consecutive quarters, Bill. And McCall's run for a touchdown was only the 4th rushing touchdown scored on Notre Dame in the same period of time, 23 quarters.
Panthers go with a single setback. Receivers everywhere. On 3rd and 7, Kinjemi delivers to Wallace, complete at the 32-yard line. Wallace hit immediately. They'll knock it down at the 31-yard line, but that's more than enough for the Pitt 1st down. And it was one of those spot passes because Kinjemi just turned and said, I'm throwing to a spot. Wallace, you be there. And Wallace was. Took a hard hit, but still got the 1st down.
Yeah, get a few yards beyond the sticks, kiddo, and that's what Wallace did. And Kinjemi is now a nice 3 for 5 throwing the football, and Pitt has a 1st down. The Panthers 5th at their 31-yard line.
12-yard gain, Kinjemi to Wallace. Darrell Clark is now as a flanker to the right side. The short side is to the left, and that's where Wallace is. Out of the eye operates Kinjemi and the Panthers 1st and 10. And they go misdirection. Here comes McCall across the 30, but they get his ankles as he crosses the 35 and is dragged down at the 36 by strong safety Joe Johnson. 4:41, turning clock, 1st quarter. Pitt ahead 14-0. Pitt with the football.
Well, Bill Freilich was pulling out of the line and leading the way, and he brushed Joe Johnson, but did no more than that. He was headed for bigger fish downfield, perhaps, but Joe Johnson made the tackle. So it's 2nd down and 5.
From the 36. Panthers go to split backs. McCall is back alongside Marlon McIntyre. And on 2nd and 5, Kinjemi wants to throw it again. Circle right out of the backfield. Here comes Mack. He's at the 35. Hard hit at the 39-yard line. Short of the 1st down by cornerback Troy Wilson. A good tackle on McIntyre prevented the Panther 1st down. Let's see where they spot it. It appears to be the 39-yard line. A pickup of only 3 yards on the pass completion. 3rd down and 2. The clock is at 3:53 and it turns here in the 1st quarter. The Panthers lead it 14-0. Panthers break the huddle and deploy Clark again as a flanker to the wide side of the field, the right side. Pitch back to the I-back. Here comes McCall. Turns the corner. Gets the 1st down out to the 41, to the 42, to the 43-yard line, where linebacker Tony Furjanic made the tackle, but not before McCall, who had a pretty good hole to run through, thanks to Barry Pettyjohn, gets the Panther 1st down.
And thanks to tight end Pat Chapani, who blocked out the outside linebacker, Mike Golick. Golick, by the way, yes, he is the kid brother of Bob Golick, the nose tackle for the Cleveland Browns. He has an older brother, Greg Golick, who is an offensive lineman on this Notre Dame team, but just a 3rd-teamer. Mike is a junior, I do believe, and he's a starting linebacker.
They call it the Golick connection, and it's a long list of brothers. Through a hole, Marlon McIntyre, a couple of yards, out across the 45 to the 46 to the 47-yard line, where defensive tackle Mike Griffin makes the stop. Griffin playing in place of John Autry, who's not in there in the Notre Dame forward wall at the moment defensively. They spot the football out at the, well, we'll call it the 47-yard line, a pickup of 4 yards, where it'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Panthers.
Still better than 2 minutes remaining in this 1st period, and the Pitt Panthers leading Notre Dame 14-0, though the Panthers are 1 touchdown underdogs.
Mark Bailey is the single setback now. McCall lines up as a wing back left. Pass by Kinjemi. Circle right backfield to the right side, Bailey. Shake and bake move. They'll knock him out of bounds as he gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Rick Naylor diagnosed the play perfectly. The Panthers may have taken a loss of 1 yard. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to place it down at the 46. It is a completed pass for -1. And it stops the clock going out of bounds at 2:28 of the 1st quarter. Pitt ahead 14-0.
So it would appear that the Fighting Irish are starting now to read that little flare. And Kinjemi is 5 for 7, but that an unsuccessful completion.
Nickel defense for the Irish. Pitt 3rd and 7 from its own 46. Kinjemi goes to the audible. Brings his wing back in a little tighter. Wants to pass. Short pocket pass complete. And a hit is made immediately at the 49-yard line by Pat Ballage with the football. It was split end Bill Wallace, and he was short of the sticks. It'll bring up 4th down, and the Panther punt team comes on.
Well, the Panthers started back at their 16, so though they have to give up the ball now, they brought it out far enough, actually exactly to midfield, that they can now punt Notre Dame into the hole. And Pitt's defense has played well today, so that is a good place to put Notre Dame, and perhaps, who knows, you cause another turnover down there and get another score.
Panthers bring their punt team on very late. They had the offense on and got it off quickly, and now Ricky is awaiting the snap. Line of scrimmage at 50. And he gets the kick away, and it's a beauty into the breeze. Back under it, Joe Howard lets it hit and go into the end zone. Notre Dame will start 1st and 10 from the Irish 20-yard line with 1:42 left of the first quarter of play.
Well, it's a 50-yard punt, and of course, with scrimmage at the 50, it's not incumbent upon Recchia to finesse the ball down inside the 20. You can let him hit it away, and he's going against a little bit of a wind, but he just had a little too much on it. It bounced at the 5 and into the end zone, so Notre Dame will take over at their 20-yard line.
Mark Brooks now comes in as fullback for Notre Dame. He's a junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, 6'3", 228 pounds. Takes the place of Chris Smith.
Neither of these ball clubs has one on television, and of course this game is being televised to about 70% of the country. I hope all of the people in Pittsburgh and on Log Iron Network have their sound turned down and their radio turned up. But anyhow, neither of these teams has one on network television since September of 1982. Obviously, well, not obviously, there could be a tie ball game, but it figures that one of them is going to break that ice today. But we have the Panthers leading 14-0.
I think the feeling was before the game that neither team had the kind of offense that could play catch-up easily. Perhaps Notre Dame with Pinkett as an edge, but so far the Panthers have pretty well contained Pinkett. He has not been able to break anything to the outside.
Hey, spotter Bob Miller, what did I tell you coming down here today? I says a 14-0 lead for either team might well do it. And
we got a lot of time left.
He pointed that out to you. He said before the game, he said, listen what Cope said, and you didn't even bother to mention it in this broadcast.
I go back to 1977 to remember how much time was left.
Yeah, right.
Notre Dame 1st and 10 from its own 20-yard line, out of the I formation. I flanker right, ball between the hash marks. Another long count by freshman Steve Berline, the quarterback. Extra long count. Turns and gives to his fullback, Brooks. Brooks is hit by Troy Benson after a gain of about 1. He may have fallen forward for 2 yards. That's about all. The Panthers defensively had it figured out. Chris Dolman pinching down. Troy Benson getting the wrap on him, and the ball is advanced to the 22-yard line, 2nd down 8.
After the second defensive play of the game by the Panthers, I said I hoped that the first 2 plays were indicative of their hitting today, and so far that has continued. They're playing some tough defense down there.
2-yard pickup for Brooks just into the game at fullback for Notre Dame. 2nd down, a long 8. Tailback Pinkett bounces it to the left side. Goes around Witherspoon. Turns, gets the first down at the 30. Knocked out of bounds as he gets to the 35-yard line. Knocked out on the far side of the field in front of the Panther bench. That time, Pinkett busted it outside and picked up 13 yards before Melvin Dean rode him out of bounds.
Well, he dipped the inside shoulder to Witherspoon, and then he swung outside around him, and he simply burned Witherspoon. He had too much speed for him, and he brought it out to the 35-yard line.
Pickett so far has 2 big gains, a 12-yarder and a 13-yarder, so he's got in the vicinity of 30 yards plus rushing so far. Wide side of the field to the right, again out of the eye. Notre Dame with Berline with another long count. Flankers to the short side, the left side. Notre Dame trailing 14-0. Another draw play. Pinkett through that little hole, and he gets out to the 42-yard line. A pickup of 7 yards. Chris Dolman finally rode him down at the 42-yard line as the ball favors the left hash mark. Notre Dame moving left to right in the first quarter, which now has 48 seconds remaining.
The Panthers, with their linebackers playing tight, seem to be in a good defense to stop that draw, but nonetheless did not. So it is now 2nd down and 4 to go.
2nd and a short 4. It's between 3 and 4 yards. And again, Notre Dame operates with the eye on 2nd and short. This time, quick count, give to the fullback, and Brooks straight ahead, and he is stacked up short of the sticks. He got maybe a yard, possibly a yard and a half to the 43-yard line, and that's all. Good tackle for the Panthers. From the bottom of the pile, left defensive tackle Bob Bukowski, the sophomore from Gateway High School, setting up 3rd down and 2. 3rd down and a short 2. That may have been the last play of the first quarter. Notre Dame making a couple of changes offensively. And that is the end of the first quarter with a score. The Panthers 14, the Fighting Irish nothing.
All right. Excuse me, I'm a little bit confused about the situation down there as we open the second period.
Well,
it's third down and 2 to go.
Yeah, and Melvin Dean was injured and was being worked on, and Tinsley had come in during the break between quarters, but now I see Dean is in there, so Dean is going to be okay. And Myron, that's a good bit of news for the Pitt defense. We pause now for station identification on the Panthers Football Network. Greetings to our listeners in Warren, Pennsylvania on WRRN, also in Mount Pocono on WPCN, in Lewistown on WKVA. We appreciate the fact that you're aboard here this afternoon. So far in this football game, the Panthers have used up 9 minutes and 41 seconds of the first quarter, which time of possession, that's pretty good. And that certainly is real good, considering that you're ahead 14-0 and trying to wind a little bit of time off the clock.
And as expected, Berline has not thrown much. He threw only 3 passes in the first period, none of them completed.
Third down 2, 43-yard line, Notre Dame on their own territory. Pitch back to Pinkett. Flea flicker. Berline in trouble. They got him at the 35 for a sack. On the flea flicker, Bob Bukowski made the defensive play. The pitch back came to Pinkett. He just turned around just like last year, only it was Phil Carter to Blair Keel. This time it was Pinkett. Shovel pass back to the quarterback Berline, but the Panthers were in on him, had all kind of pressure. I couldn't tell whether it was a blitz, but Bukowski got him, and it's a loss of 8 yards to the 35. Blair Keel and the Irish punt team are on the field.
Well, surely they'd have thought Pitt would be ready for it this year after having been burned so badly by it last year when their perfect record and #1 ranking went down the drain.
Loss of 8 yards to the 35. Pitt with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Now they only have 8, but Keel gets it away, and it's a beauty. A spiral into the wind. Flynn back, takes it his own 20. Looks for the wall. It's not there now. Goes to the wide side, turns it back, and gets out to the 29-yard line. So he gets a 9-yard punt return, which is just slightly below his average of about 10 yards on the season.
A nice 45-yard punt by Keel, so the Pitt Panthers actually will have the football at their 29.5-yard line early in the second quarter. They try to fatten a 14-0 lead.
Scoreboard is calling it the 30-yard line, so we'll go along with that. Keep the stats nice and well-rounded. After a sideline conference, Kangemi is late arriving to the huddle. Marlon McIntyre, the fullback. The tailback is McCall. Pitt will line up in the I. Clark will be a flanker to the left side, which is basically the wide side, and Wallace split end right. Sweeney out over the football for the Panthers. Pitch back to the left side, McCall. Sidesteps one tackler, sidesteps another, and gets out to about the 33-yard line. Picked up 3 on the play, but it could have been a loss, but he avoided the loss with a good move back behind the line of scrimmage. Good block by Tony Brown. Fine tackle for the Irish by linebacker Tony Furjanic.
And he got a block from Clint Wilson, a tight end who took care of Bob Golick, Mike Golick. Bob's with Cleveland. Mike Golick, the linebacker. 2nd down and 7.
After the 3-yard pickup by McCall. Now Clark comes as a wide out to the right side, flanker. Split end left to the short side is Wallace. Single setback is Mark Bailey. Kangemi straight back to pass on 2nd and 7. With time, fires over the middle. Complete. Here comes Bill Wallace. Slips out of one tackler's grasp, and they push him down at the 44-yard line, but it's a good pickup of 11 yards. Bill Wallace on the receiving end of a Kangemi pass. Naylor made the tackle for Notre Dame, but not before the sticks are moved.
And it was Pat Ballage, the sophomore cornerback, who had a piece of Wallace, but Wallace would not hear of being thrown down, and he wanted a couple of more yards out of it and got a 1st down at the 44-yard line.
The Panthers with excellent field position and a 14-0 lead, 13-18 left second quarter. Single setback, flanker right. Kangemi back, sideline pattern, and it is incomplete. The intended receiver running up the sideline was Jeff Casper, and it looked for a minute like he was out of bounds running that pattern from our vantage point here, and the pass was over his head, out of bounds, incomplete. It was immaterial. Coverage by Pat Ballage. That'll stop the clock at 13-10. Second quarter, it's 2nd down 10, Pitt from its own 44, and the Panthers leading at 14-0.
Only Kangemi's 3rd incomplete pass. He's thrown 10 times.
Good coverage that time by Ballage. Caused the incompletion. Actually, Kangemi threw the high pass. Panthers misdirection play. They slip it to the right side to McCall. Turns it upfield behind the block and gets to about the 50-yard line for 6 yards. McCall with a good run. Nickel defense was on the field for the Irish. Good blocking from Freilich, and Durundo made that play possible. And I think what I see the Panthers doing today, Myron, a pattern there, the cutback seems to be working.
It does indeed. And on that play, Tony Frajanek, a linebacker, was a reception committee for Bill Freilich, pulling and running to his right. Frajanek had the misfortune to be there. Did he get flattened, or did he get flattened?
Again, the nickel defense for the Irish, this time 3rd and 4 from the 50-yard line. Can Jimmy draw play to McIntyre? They've got him, but good strength, and he just falls forward what appears to be close enough for a first down. They're probably going to have to measure. I mean to tell you, the tackler had his arms wrapped around McIntyre. Gann had him, but Mac, with those powerful legs, just churned and churned, and he appears to have, and he does indeed have the Panther first down at the Notre Dame 46-yard line.
The Panthers' 7th first down of this ball game, so they're moving in Notre Dame territory, having started back at their own 30. Yeah, that was hard running. That big guy, Gann, he by all rights should have nailed him before he crossed the line of scrimmage.
Looked like one of those shows you see where they horses pull the heavy weights. 1st and 10. Pitt at the Notre Dame 46. Pitch back, reverse. And here comes Stennett to the 50, 45, 40. First down at the 35, 30. Cuts it back to the 25, 20, and is down at the 18-yard line. The Panthers pitched it back, and with the football, it was Joe McCall who handed it off to the flanker coming around Matt Stennett. Stennett turned the left side and picked up gobs of yardage. They spot the football down at the 17-yard line, so that means he picked up 29 yards.
And on that play, I tell you something, Stennett had Freilich way downfield at around the 30-yard line, but Freilich missed the block, but Stennett beat the man with a nifty inside move and took it down to the 18 or the 17-yard line.
Where it's 1st and 10 out of the I. Kangemi goes to the audible. Wide side of the field is to the right. The Panthers come out of the I formation. Clark is a flanker right. Clark for the corner of the end zone. It's going to be overthrown, incomplete. That's the play Kangemi went to when he saw the coverage, and sliding out of bounds, it was Clark along with the coverage man Troy Wilson. Wilson did a good job of making sure that Clark didn't get around him, so Kangemi's pass was over the top of the heads of both young men.
Bill, I guess Stennett's gain actually would have been good. Yeah, 29 you called it? Yeah, that's right.
29 yards.
28 yards maybe.
Well, it was from the 46 to the 17, well, I believe, or are they calling it the 18? They're calling it the 17, so that looks like 29 to me.
No time for me to be nitpicking. It's exciting down there.
2nd and 10 at the 17. Clock stopped at 11:32, second quarter. Pitch back to the left side, McCall. Good blocking, but he slips and falls as he gets to the 15-yard line. Freilich had it sealed off. Freilich had his man. Durundo had his man, and McCall just slipped when he made the cutback.
Exactly right. There was yardage to be made there. The line had come off the ball well, but the ball carrier simply slipped and went down.
Holding call against the Panthers.
Ouch. A final score, Bill. West Virginia has beaten Temple 27-19. Let me see what I have on Penn State. Final, Penn State 38, Brown 21. So it wasn't as bad as a lot of people had expected. Some other scores in the third period. Baylor and Arkansas tied 21-21. Boston College in the fourth period is walloping Army 34-7. Maryland has gone out in front of Auburn in the fourth period 17-14. And Florida in the first period holds a 6-3 lead over Georgia.
It does not appear to be as windy right now as it was at the start of the game.
No, it does not.
It appears to be 12-15. The holding call brings the ball out across the 25, and they spot it at the 27-yard line. It's a 10-yard holding call. It'll still be second down, and now it'll be second down and 20, the Panthers from the 27.
How about this score in the fourth period? East Carolina 7, Miami of Florida 6.
And the Panthers have to play East Carolina next year. Single setback. 2nd and 20, Pitt from the Notre Dame 27. Pitt leading 14-0. Big rush. Kangemi is hit and sacked at the 35. And there's all kind of tempers flaring. Durundo didn't like the way they were roughing up Kangemi, and he came back and peeled somebody off the pile. But there are no markers down. Rick Naylor will get credit for the sack, a loss of 8 yards to the 35-yard line. So the Panthers now, who were just a moment ago at the 17, thanks to a holding call and a sack, are back out at the 35 and face a third and long.
So here, well, you're probably simply hoping to pick up a little yardage and perhaps get a field goal out of this. A good opportunity for a touchdown has been squandered.
Third down and 28. The Panthers from the Notre Dame 35-yard line. 10:24 left of the second quarter. Single setback, flanker right. Kajemi back, three-man rush. Fires a pass over the middle, and Wallace is hit hard, and the pass is incomplete. The ball was thrown high, and the man who hit him is down and out. Chris Brown, the free safety, is down and not moving. A whale of a collision. Wallace is injured, but he gets up and is trying to shake it off. But Chris Brown is down. 10:16 to go in the quarter. Pitt ahead 14-0. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
You call your stockbroker.
Tom?
Yeah.
Jim here. I want to buy 500 shares of Comross.
Comross. Wait a second. Let me check on them.
Don't bother. I've been watching the company for quite a while. They're high-tech, and now's when I want in.
Why pay your broker for advice you're not always using? Pittsburgh National Discount Brokerage can give you the same fast transactions and save you as much as 70% on commissions. Find out more about Pittsburgh National.
Here's Joe Johnson.
They also have a nickelback named Dane Spielmaker. Now will Recchia punt the football with the Panthers try a little razzle-dazzle here from the 35-yard line in Notre Dame territory in punt formation.
With that 14-0 lead, I imagine they'll try to drop it in there. Maybe punt it out of bounds and hope that it gets in there pretty good.
Which Recchia has done very well this year. He's kicked a couple of coffin corner beauties. Aims it for the left corner. It's going to sail into the end zone, it appears, and be a touchback. Notre Dame will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. There's a break in the second quarter action. We'll be right back.
Discount.
Notre Dame 1st and 10 from their own 20. Sprint draw play to Pinkett. He flips it out the left side, being chased and hit and wrapped up after a 3-yard gain out to the 23-yard line. Pinkett coming to the near sideline and tempers flare, and a flag is in the air. And let's see, Chris Smith was in the process
with Melvin Dean.
With Melvin Dean. Now, who will be the person charged as guilty here? They're talking to the Panther tri-captain Troy Hill, and let's see what the call is. It is a personal foul against Pitt. It happened in front of the Notre Dame bench at about the 37-yard line. Oh, that's going to be a big break for the Irish. Pinkett was stopped after a 3-yard gain, and now they come all the way out to the 38-yard line.
Well, you don't want to put handcuffs on your ball team. You want them to play vigorously, but at this point, the coaches might do well to say to their players, hey, when that whistle blows, hands off. And particularly on Pitt's side of the line, because they're leading 14-0, and they want to stay in control of this football game.
Brooks is the up back in the eye. Pinkett the tailback. 38-yard line, the line of scrimmage in Notre Dame territory. Pitt leads at 14-0 second quarter. Pitch back to Pinkett, right side. Cuts it up between a hole. He's at the 45 to 50. On his way at the 45 to 40 and down at the Pitt 40-yard line. Pinkett got through a hole, probably not as wide as his body, and the elusive Pinkett took off and ran for 22 yards.
Well, Milt Jackson, the flanker, was blocking downfield on, I believe, Troy Hill. And so if Tommy Flynn doesn't come to the rescue there, it schools out. It's the big 6 for Notre Dame. But there was Flynn on the spot to stop Pinkett, so the ball is at the Pitt 41.
Burline steps in. They fake the pitch, and they give it to the fullback Brooks, and he hits... No, it's not Brooks, it's Chris Smith, and he gets a couple of yards into the 39 to the 38-yard line, where Panther linebacker Troy Benson, the junior from Altoona, along with help from strong safety Ray Weatherspoon, the senior from Clareton, make the stop on the play. At the 38-yard line, a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 in Pitt territory. The score, Pitt 14, Notre Dame nothing. 8:52, the clock turns second quarter, and Notre Dame on the march. They make a change at left guard. Scale is out, and Derger is in for the Irish. Flanker left, out of the eye. Burline with a long count. Spins, hand off to Pinkett. Tries the right side, not much going on there. He gets a couple of yards to about the 36, and that's all, where Bill Moss, the Panther defensive right tackle from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, had the wraps on him at the 36-yard line. Pickup of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Notre Dame down 14-0 tries to turn this game around, and a set of circumstances is helping them along, such as a sack, a penalty when Pitt was threatening to score, and now A penalty against Pitt in the secondary.
You wonder when Berline's going to throw it. 3rd down and 6 from the 36-yard line at Pitt. He's going to throw it now. He's back, has time, looks, fires, intercepted Tommy Flynn. 30, 35, wide side at the 40. And needs a block, doesn't get it, and down he goes at the 40-yard line. They're going to put him down at the 39, but an interception by Tommy Flynn. The intended receiver, Joe Howard, was not anywhere near the football. Berline just threw it right into Flynn's arms. The Panthers keep the Irish off the board. There's a break in the second quarter action, and we'll be right back.
Here's an inflation-fighting tip from Daly's. Buy Daly's fresh fruit-flavored concentrate. 1 gallon mixes with water to give you 6 gallons of good-tasting, low-cost-per-serving fruit drink that's better for you than those carbonated beverages. And there's no sugar needed. So the next...
You see that Chris Brown, the Notre Dame free safety who was injured a few minutes ago, is back in their secondary now. I imagine that Blair Keel is smoking down on the sideline because Berline, according to my unofficial stats, has thrown 4 times, completed none, and now he's thrown an interception. And Keel had made, he's outspoken in his criticism of Jerry Foss for taking his job away after the second game of the season and giving it to Berline. He doesn't mince any words. He said he doesn't like it. He thinks he earned a better shot than that, playing through into his 4th year here. And so I would guess that he's standing along the sideline saying, I think I could do better than the freshman who is out there. Anyhow, Pitt has a first down following Tommy Flynn's interception at their 34-yard line.
All of the field is in shadow now. 7:52 left, second quarter. Clark deployed as his flanker to the left side. McIntyre, the lone setback, gets the call off the left side. They seal it off, and Mack fights for yardage out to the 45-yard line. He picked up, I would say, about 7 yards, maybe 6 yards behind the blocking of Jim Sweeney. And finally, Joe Bars dragged him down just shy of the 45. Call it a 6-yard pickup and call it 2nd down and 4.
And again, that Pitt offensive line coming off the ball like gangbusters. They are really beating Notre Dame to the punch down there in the trenches.
Line of scrimmage of 45. Panthers started at about the 39 to give off the left side. Joe McCall cuts it back and gets the first down and more. He's not tackled till he reaches the Notre Dame 44-yard line. McCall around the left side, cut it back, good blocking. Finally, Naylor made the drag down at about the Notre Dame 44-yard line. Freilich again doing most of the damage up front.
And the Irish trying to tackle both McCall and the football, trying to seize the football, but McCall clutching it determinedly and takes it inside the 45-yard line of the Fighting Irish.
McCall got 10 yards from my best recollection there. Here comes Kangemi out of the eye. Quick pass, and it's batted into the air, incomplete. A marker is down. Pat Ballage got a hand on it on the corner fire, and the ball is batted down, and the Panthers may be hit with a procedure call here. They didn't take a set, I believe, in that. Now they're going to call offsides against Pitt. Somebody lined up offside. So the Panthers had McIntyre pick up 6, and then McCall picked up 10, and now the penalty, and this will be a 5-yarder. From the 44-yard line of Notre Dame out to the 49. It'll be 1st and 15. 6:54 left of the second quarter. Pitt ahead 14-0, and the Panthers own the football for the moment.
And Pitt fans were worried about the effect of the crowd noise on the Panthers, but with the quick 14-0 lead, I wouldn't say this crowd is that noisy to be a problem.
1st and 15, Pitt from the Notre Dame 49. McCall tries the right side, but there's a host of blue shirts there to greet him. He got maybe 2 yards into the Notre Dame 48-yard line. Golick, the defensive end from the left side, and Joe Johnson, the strong safety, nailed McCall as he crossed the 50 and got a couple to the 48-yard line of Notre Dame. So this will bring up a 2nd down, and we'll call it 14 yards to go.
Apparently a passing down. Let's quickly say Ace Kangemi, 7 for 12, no interceptions, a 44-yard touchdown pass.
2nd and 14. Back to pass, Kangemi. Out of the backfield, McIntyre has it. He's hit by 2 people, but he drags one into the Notre Dame 41-yard line. Rick Naylor rode him down at that point. That's a pickup of 7 yards. It'll be 3rd down and about 7.
So they go to that play again with McIntyre swinging out of the backfield, and I had wondered a little earlier if Notre Dame had not wised up to it, because they had defense at one time, but they go right back to it, and they pick up some nice yardage, but it leaves Pitt with 3rd and 7, as you just said, Bill.
14-0, the Panther lead at 5:35, turning clock second quarter. 3rd and 7 at the Notre Dame 41. Pitt moving left to right second quarter. Wide side of the field to the left. Kangemi back. Kangemi slips and rolls out of the pocket, evades the rush, pump fakes, and he'll be dragged down out of bounds for a loss back at the 49-yard line. Dane Spielmaker, the nickel back, got in the backfield and chased him out of the pocket and got him along the sideline. It'll be a loss of about, I guess they're going to say 10 yards, and so the Panther punt team will be on the field.
Yes, he got away from the big tackle. Gann did well to get away from him, but Kangemi scrambling to the sidelines, finally nailed, so the Panthers must punt.
Sack of 10 yards at the Pitt 49, the line of scrimmage. Wide side to the left. Panthers in punt formation with Recchia awaiting Tony Magnelli's snap. Snap is high, but it's fielded, and Recchia angles the punt for the left sideline. Chasing it over there as Joe Howard lets it hit. It takes a Notre Dame bounce, and it'll be downed immediately by Melvin Dean inside the 20-yard line. They're going to knock it down at the 19-yard line. 4:35 remaining, second quarter. With timeout on the field, the score, Pitt 14 and Notre Dame nothing.
The punt by Tony Recchia, good for 32 yards. Actually, it was a pretty good punt and hit it on about the 16, but it unfortunately took a Notre Dame bounce. So the ball is at the 19. First down for the Irish.
Moving right to left, second quarter. They trail 14-0 out of the I formation. Quarterback Steve Berline, the freshman. Pitch back to the left side, Pinkett. Tries to turn the corner. He does. Spoon hits him, and he spins forward for about 4 yards to the 23-yard line. Pinkett is an elusive, slippery runner who's got that quick darting movement, and when he cuts it back, anything can happen. But Spoon did a good sure-handed tackle that time and got help from Chris Dolman.
Pinkett needs only 102 yards to become Notre Dame's, just the third man in Notre Dame history to gain 1,000 yards rushing in a season. The other two were Al Hunter and Vegas Ferguson.
From what we've seen so far, I think he's going to make it this afternoon at the 4-minute mark, second quarter. Out of the I formation on 2nd and 6 from his own 23, Berline. Sprint draw. Pinkett tries to turn it to the left side. Good tackle by Caesar Aldersert. Upset him for maybe a loss on the play, and it is. Back to the 21. He lost 2.
Aldersert ran it all the way. Just stayed his grind. He stayed home and waited for that guy to come back to him, and then he not only made the tackle, went for the football at the same time. Could not shake that loose, but now it's 3rd down and 9.
I see Chris Jellick warming up on the Pitt sideline, the Panthers sophomore from Mount Lebanon, the quarterback, and that indicates to me that maybe John Kangemi may have been hit hard on the previous sack that set up the Panther punt. Bill Sapio in at a defensive end. Notre Dame now with a 3rd and 9 at their own 21. Wide side of the field is to the right, and that's where Joe Howard is the wide receiver. Back to pass. Berline over the middle. The pass is complete with a football. Milt Jackson. And nope, they say he dropped it. Nope, Tube said he dropped it. Now they're signaling for timeout. He's got it at the 40-yard line, and that's a gain of 19, and it's more than enough for the first down. Dean made the tackle on the play. Looked like he held it, and I couldn't understand why the two officials away from the ball were signaling what appeared to be incomplete. They're just trying to get the clock stopped, which it is at 3:03, second quarter, on Notre Dame first down to the 40-yard line. Play action fake. Berline back, wants to throw deep over the middle. Pass complete again. Milt Jackson gets to the Pitt 38-yard line. Another Notre Dame first down. He beats Troy Hill on the play, coming across the middle from his split end right position.
So that'll be a pickup of 22 yards on the play. First he hits Jackson for 19 yards, now for 22, and they are his first 2 completions of the ball game. Steve Berline's first completions, and he throws them both down the middle.
They spot the football at the Pitt 38. Berline now 3 for 7. Chris Dolman back into the Panther defensive lineup. At the Pitt 38, Notre Dame with the 1st and 10. Alvin Miller now the flanker. Play action fake. They want to throw the pass back, and he throws it away, does Berline. Roaring in is Al Wenglakowski. Melvin Dean on the corner fire, and Berline said, I got to get out of here. Here's the football. He threw it to nobody.
Well, Mark Bavaro, the tight end, was open down the middle, but he threw it about 10 yards beyond the big tight end. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
I think he wanted to set something up there. He kind of looked to the left side and then either wanted to go back over the middle to the right side, but I think he just decided, hey, I got to dump this thing because the heat's on, thanks to Wenglakowski and Melvin Dean on the corner fire from the left side. Mike Favorite is now the flanker. He's the third-team flanker. Milt Jackson is lined up on the same side of the football. Here comes a rollout by Burline. Here comes the hit. Nope, they missed him. Now they got him at the 43-yard line. Aldershot missed him, and then putting the wraps on him was Al Wenglakowski. And I mean to tell you, Aldershot was on him quick and was coming with a hard charge. He got out of Aldershot's grasp, but then Wenglakowski knocked him down. The loss is back to the 43 of 5 yards. It'll set up a 3rd down and 15. Notre Dame trailing the Panthers 14-0. The clock turns to 1:54 left of the second quarter. Notre Dame has all 3 timeouts remaining. The Panthers have only 2 remaining in the first half, despite what the scoreboard says. 43-yard line of Pitt. Rolling left is Burline. Twin receivers out that way. They throw it back to Pinkett. Pinkett with a block, and now a screen, and he gets to the 40-yard line, and that's all. He picked up 3 yards on the play. The Panther defense swarming all over the football. Aldershot was there, and so was Tom Flynn, who made the initial hit.
Aldershot is playing a tremendous game of football. I mean to tell you, Bill, he's reading these plays, and he is where the ball is today, time and again.
Notre Dame takes its first timeout of the first half, and so each team has 2 timeouts remaining in this half, which has 1:15 to go. Pitt ahead 14-0. It'll be a 4th down play for Notre Dame. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back. But you got to remember that the 2 guys on the end of the line, plus the man in the backfield, the up back, are eligible receivers if Keel would decide to throw it. Keel, a pretty good athlete, can run the ball too. 4th and 12. Notre Dame at the Pitt 40. Tommy Flynn is not back in his normal deep safety position. He's playing at about the 20-yard line, just in case Notre Dame comes up with any gimmick of some sort. Keel awaiting the snap by the long snapper, and he gets a kick away. And it's high. It's going to be short. Flynn ranges under, signals for the fair catch. Notre Dame pulls it in at the 6-yard line. Under the football down there is Dan Corsero, a sophomore, and he did a good job of ranging under it and catching the punt since Flynn had signaled for the fair catch and got out of there. We pause for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Try the delicious new clam dinner at Winky's, complete with French fries and coleslaw for only $1.99. Now at Winky's. WTAE, Pittsburgh.
We assume that John Kangemi is injured. Chris Jellick is on the field for the Panthers and will be the quarterback. Pitt facing a 1st and 10 at its own 7. Pitt ahead 14-0. We have 1:07 left of the second quarter. Each team with 2 remaining timeouts.
But I don't think that Pitt is going to use their timeouts to try to get a drive going back at their 7-yard line.
And they've used
one. Just used one now.
They heard you, Myron.
Well, why? That is the question then.
Okay, that's a good question. And apparently, breaking out of the huddle was Jellick, and apparently he sensed that perhaps what they were discussing in the huddle wasn't what it should have been called, and the Panthers decide that we got to make sure down here because they do not want to give Notre Dame an easy, quick score with 1:07 left of the second quarter. They've got to try to use up the clock right now and try to get that 14-0 halftime lead. After the sideline conference, sophomore Jellick from Mount Lebanon is back on the field for Pitt.
Well, apparently there were only 2 seconds left on the 25-second clock, so they called the timeout, and now they have 1 remaining. But the idea here is to use up the remaining 1:07 while you got a 14-0 lead.
Flanker is Darrell Clark. The split end to the other side is Bill Wallace out of the eye. Pitt 1st and 10 from its own 7. The spin into the fullback. The give is to Marlon McIntyre. He hits the stone wall, maybe gets the yard to the 8-yard line. Clock winds down to 1 minute now. Notre Dame has 2 timeouts left. The Panthers have but 1 here in the first half. Now we have the clock stopped. And the indication from referee John Nealon is the fact that the Irish have called timeout, so each team has now 1 remaining.
You know, at halftime here today, Notre Dame is going to honor Moose Fischler, who was a guard back in the 1940s, and they're also going to honor Bill Shakespeare posthumously. He died in 1974. I'm going to have as my halftime guests Art Rooney Jr. and Joe Doyle, now retired, who was a longtime South Bend sports editor. And this is my, I'm at least going to find it interesting because I want to find out why Bill Shakespeare, who was the first first-round draft pick the Steelers ever made back in 1936. The year the draft started. He was their #1 pick. I think I can guess why. He was from Notre Dame, so Art Rooney wanted him. But why didn't he play? Why didn't he sign a contract? He never played with the Steelers. He didn't go in. A lot of guys then weren't interested in pro ball, but I'm going to ask those guys, maybe solve that mystery.
After the timeout, Pitt now facing a 2nd and 9 from its own 8. They pitch it, and up the left side comes tailback Joe McCall with a football. Got through a hole crossing the 10, got out to the 13-yard line, picked up about 4 yards, and the clock winds down to 43 seconds left of the quarter and the half. 14-0 the Panthers, each team with a timeout remaining. Chris Jellick is the quarterback, 5'11", 185 pounds, the sophomore from Mount Lebanon. Jellick on the young football season has completed all 3 of his attempts for 35 yards, and he did that all in the Louisville game several weeks back. The spin by Jellick, and the give to McIntyre, slides to the left side, gets out to the 15 to the 16-yard line. Notre Dame will use up its final timeout with 16 seconds left of the half. The Irish, obviously, with its good field position, currently would like to have the football back and try to get some points on the board before halftime. 14-0 the Panthers. They got it on a 44-yard touchdown pass. Kangemi to Wallace. Then they missed the extra point try. Vinecourt's kick knuckleballed wide to the right. And then the Panthers on a fumble by Pinkett. Who recovered that fumble? Troy Hill recovered that fumble. And the Panthers took it in on a 10-yard score. A rush by Joe McCall. Went for 2. Kangemi to Bailey on the pass was good. And the Panthers got the extra point back and lead it 14-0. 16 seconds left of the half. Tony Recchia will be on to punt. Joe Howard is the deep man for Notre Dame, and the Irish have 10 men up on the line of scrimmage. Will they try to block it? The Panthers trying to put the right hats on the right numbers. Long snapper, Tony Magnelli, delivers it. Recchia gets it away, and it's a good kick. Howard Fair catches it back at his own 44 and pulls it in at the Notre Dame 44-yard line with 10 seconds remaining of the half. Notre Dame has used its full complement of timeouts. They have none remaining. The Panthers have 1 remaining. Would not want to use it now. They just will be very content, if they can, to go into halftime with a 2-touchdown lead. Not too many teams come into the stadium and get a 2-touchdown halftime lead.
A 41-yard punt for Tony Recchia. And it's a little surprising that with a 14-0 lead, the Pitt Panthers have had to punt 5 times in this first half. In fact, once more, if my figures are correct, then Notre Dame has had a punt. But here goes Notre Dame from their 44-yard line.
Trailing 14-0, they set up in the eye, and Berline fakes the draw, wants to pass. Going to throw it deep to the right sideline, and it's incomplete, short of the mark at the 35. Joe Howard tried to come back on the ball, but apparently slipped and lost his footing. Incompletion stops the clock at 5 seconds left of the second quarter.
So Berline is 3 for 9 and threw 1 interception. He's about 6'3", and he's a big, strong kid, a good, strong arm, obviously lacking in experience. He was a heck of a high school basketball player out in Fullerton, California. But now he faces 2nd down and 10 with 5 seconds left on the clock in the first half.
Jackson and Miller, twin receivers to the short side. Berline back with 5 seconds to go, is going to put it up. Long downfield, the pass will be batted and incomplete at the 13-yard line. Good defensive play for Ray Weatherspoon and Troy Hill, and that will expire the second quarter. The end of the first half of the score, the Pitt Panthers 14, Notre Dame nothing.
Everything we do makes driving better for you.
For Sheriff Duval, whose patrol car's pickup was really a crime.
At the start of this football game, Notre Dame had won the coin toss and deferred, so now the Irish trailing 14-0 as we start the third quarter. They want the football, and they'll get it. Pat Vinecourt, the freshman walk-on left-footed sidewinder from Cleveland, Ohio, will be kicking the ball right to left into the breeze, which is a lot less than it was at the start of the game. It's about half, so the breeze right now is about 8 to 10 miles per hour. And he'll be kicking into that breeze, a slight breeze right to left from the far hash mark. Deep to receive for Notre Dame, Alan Pinkett at the goal line in the middle, flanked by Alvin Miller and Alonzo Jefferson. Jefferson earlier in the football game returned a Panther kickoff 24 yards and gave the Irish pretty good field position to start a drive. The Panthers so far have kept the Irish off the board. John Kangemi, the Panther quarterback, we understand, rang his bell. Here comes Vinecourt's kickoff. It'll come down to the 2-yard line. Picked up by Bell. He's out across the 10, the 15, still on his feet at the 20. Greg Bell is down as he crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line. A 25-yard kickoff return by Greg Bell. And Steve Berline will be the quarterback for Notre Dame. He was 3 for 10 in the first half. Bill Sapio made the tackle on the kickoff return man, Bell. Notre Dame, they say it's the 25-yard line, so we'll go along with that. 1st and 10, the Irish, trailing 14-0. They start from their own 25. Pinkett dots the I. They go with a slot formation to the wide side. In the slot, Milt Jackson. Rolling to the right, Berline stops, fires for the sideline, and slipping and falling is the intended receiver, Joe Howard. He had gotten open. The Panthers kind of zoning up. Let the man come underneath the zone, but when he went to come back for the ball, his feet gave way, slipping on this natural surface, which is a dry track today, but at several times we've seen Notre Dame players slip and fall. The Panthers, I think I recall McCall doing it one time. Tim Quentz playing defensive tackle for the Panthers.
The receiver wide open. Would have picked up about 8 yards on the play.
2nd down 10. The clock stops at 14:51, third quarter. Notre Dame from their own 25, flanker right. And that's Milt Jackson. Out of the I, Pinkett through a hole, but they grab him as he gets to the 27-yard line. He got through the initial hole, but Caesar Alderser plugged the gap and brought him down after an advance of what we're going to say is 3 yards to the 28. Good help that time from Bob Shilkin, who got in there and upset the apple cart at the 28-yard line. 3rd down and 7. Notre Dame trailing 14-0. Third quarter faces a 3rd and 7 from their own 28. This time, it is Milt Jackson as a flanker right. Howard split to the short side, the left side. Single setback with a wing back in Pinkett. The Irish lose the football, but picking it up is Berline. He still has time to throw. Fires a pass over the middle, and it is incomplete. A good hit at the 48-yard line by Tommy Flynn on tight end Mark Bavaro, the intended receiver, and he parted Bavaro from the football.
And down at the Pitt 45, the Irish appeared to have their flanker back, Milt Jackson, open, being defended by Troy Hill, but he looked open to me. However, Berline went to the other guy, and now Notre Dame has to punt.
Ray Weatherspoon also in on the play. They pinched on Bavaro and knocked the football loose. Flynn and Spoon, a good job defending, and the punter Blair Keel is out for Notre Dame, the line of scrimmage at 28. He gets the snap. Keel gets the foot into the ball. Wobbly kick. Flynn comes up to take and takes it his own 34, and he'll be completely surrounded and knocked down off his feet at the 34-yard line. Spearheading the defensive charge for Notre Dame under the punt was John Mosley, a cornerback. 38-yard punt for Blair Keel. So the Panthers start at their own 34 with a 14-0 lead, and the quarterback will be sophomore Chris Jellick, who's taking the place of the injured John Kingemi. The information from the Panthers sideline is that Kingemi suffered a hit to the head, and he will not start the third quarter. McIntyre and McCall get behind Jellick, but whether Kingemi sees further action today is a problem for the Panthers. They pitch it back, but the play is whistled down before it starts. A procedure call against the Panthers. Clock stops at 14 minutes left of the third quarter. Referee John Nealon of the Big Ten gets the conference from his fellow official and comes out with the official call. Offsides Pitt. Panthers, that's the second offensive offsides call the Panthers have faced. They also had 2 defensive offsides in the first half.
So they will move the football back to the Pitt 29-yard line. And now, with the Pitt leading 14-0, you would want them to keep attacking, but with a new quarterback in there, Chris Jellick, they may decide to play it close to the vest and hope to get along with their ground game.
Stennett, flanker left, split end right is Wallace. Play action pick. Now they go to the draw play. Turning the corner right side, the weak side is Joe McCall, and he gets 5 yards back out to about the 34, possibly the 35-yard line, where he is knocked out of bounds on the far sideline by pursuing linebacker Joe Bars, who's taken the place of the injured Mike Kovaleski. Bars that time had help from cornerback Pat Bellage in run support, but it is a 6-yard gain, and it'll set the ball up at the 35, and that's where the Panthers face a 2nd down and 9. Clock, 13:33. It turns, third quarter, Pitt ahead 14-0. And it's been that way since quarter number 1. I flanker left is the Panther formation. Jellick, pitch back to the left side. McCall can't go anywhere. Gets a couple of yards, that's all, maybe to the 37. Spearheading the charge, Joe Bars, the linebacker, upset McCall as he got out to the 37-yard line with an advance of 2. This will be a 3rd down and 7. The Panthers at their own 37. Notre Dame makes several defensive changes. I see that Eric Dorsey comes out of there. They go to the nickel defense, and Dane Spielmaker is on for the Irish as an extra defensive back. The Panthers make a change at right offensive guard. Mike Dahl is into the ball game in place of Barry Pettyjohn. Left guard is Mike Durundo. I formation, 3rd and 7 for the Panthers. Jellick is back. Jellick looks, and he throws a pass out of the pocket. It's incomplete at the 34-yard line, reaching for the low pass to the right side. It was Mark Bailey. He couldn't hold on. The Irish defense has held, and the Panthers will have to punt on 4th and 7. So the Irish send Joe Howard deep. His average on the year, punt returning, 7.8 yards per return.
Well, even had Jellick not underthrown the ball, I don't think that pass would have netted anything because the cornerback, Wilson, was over there reading it well and ready to make the hit. So Pitt punt.
Here comes Recchia's kick, and it's a good spiral into the breeze. Howard ranges back and takes at his own 21. Looks for the wall to the right, turns it to 25, slips, still on his feet, gets to the 30 and gets to the 31. A punt return of 10 yards. There's a break in the third quarter action, and we'll be right back. Notre Dame facing a 1st and 10 at their own 31. Howard split to one side, Jackson to the other. The give to Pickett through a big hole out across the 35, the 40. He's got a first down to the Notre Dame 43-yard line. Pickett broke it for 12 yards. Tom Flynn made a saving tackle. Mike Kelly threw a block up front, the Irish center. Tim Scannell, the left guard, and right guard Neil Money. And the middle opened up, and when it parted, Pickett was through it like a shot.
Oh, yeah, there was a big hole there as they moved out. Troy Benson, the linebacker, to clear the way. So the ball is at the 43-yard line of Notre Dame.
12-yard gain for Alan Pickett. They go to Pickett again. He tries to bounce it left side, jammed it up there, and he's submerged. A good job by Dolman jamming the outside, and then the Panthers came across in pursuit and knocked Pickett down after an advance of about 2 yards to the 45. Al Wenglakowski, with help from Troy Hill, made the tackle.
Yes, and Pickett actually ran into his tight end, Mark Bavaro, who was not able to move Dolman and was simply stuck there as if in a quagmire, and Pinkett ran into him.
2nd down 8. Notre Dame from its own 45, trailing 14-0 third quarter, 11:34 remaining of this period. Long count by the freshman quarterback. Berline pitches it back to the left side, right side. Pickett through a hole. He breaks a tackle, and he gets good yardage crossing the 50 to the 45. Ray Weatherspoon came up to try to get an arm on Pickett. You can't arm tackle Pickett. He broke it, and finally Dolman dragged him down after an advance of 10 yards and a first down to the Pitt 45-yard line.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head, Bill. Weatherspoon ought to know better. He just reached out that arm, tried to take him down high, and no, you cannot arm tackle this little guy. He's got strong legs, and he moves, and he's got some power.
Panthers with a 5-man front. Atia, the nose guard, digs in. Notre Dame out of the eye, 1st and 10 from the Pitt 45. Flanker left is Howard to the wide side. Berline takes, deep give. Pinkett through a hole again, and he gets into the 40 for about 6 yards across the 40, just inside the 40-yard line where Benson made the stop for the Panthers. A 5-yard pickup for Alan Pinkett, the sophomore who came in needing 102 yards rushing to become only the 3rd back in Notre Dame history to amass 1,000 yards in a single season.
Now, this is really the first time today that Notre Dame consistently is beating Pitt off the ball, that the Pitt defense is looking ragged and giving up good-sized holes.
2nd and 5 at the 40, delayed hit, and here comes Pinkett down for a sack. A delayed give off the left side. Moss came in, and he just surrounded the ball carrier, Pinkett, stuck him. Tom Flynn put his nose in there, and it was a loss on the play of 5 yards back to the 45. That is a big defensive play. They tried the delayed give, the sprint draw left side to Pinkett. The Panthers, Moss and Flynn, shut it down.
And perhaps Moss's play will be corrective, that it'll set a new tone for the Pitt defense and that they will get back that bristling style of play that they showed in the first half.
Loss of 5, 3rd and 10. Notre Dame at the Pitt 45, single setback. Berline back, looking. Time over the middle of the pass. Complete with the football. Milt Jackson first down to the Pitt 20. He's finally ridden down as he gets to the 18-yard line. Making the tackle, Tom Flynn, but Jackson made a nice grab on a high pass, pulled it in over the middle, and Notre Dame gets all the way to the Pitt 18-yard line. That is a pickup of 27 yards.
Yes, it is, and Milt Jackson is a big, strong young receiver, 6'4" and about 220 pounds, and he can fly. So the ball is at, indeed, the Pitt 18-yard line.
That's the third big play for Jackson on the receiving end of a Burline pass. Out of the eye on first and 10, the 18. Pitch back to Pickett. Pickett is hit and dropped for a loss at the 20-yard line. Good defensive play for Troy Benson, who came in there, smelled the sweep to the right side, and just got Pickett, and down he went for a loss of 2. It'll be second down and 12. The clock is at 9:16 of the third quarter. Panther defense digs in, tries to keep Notre Dame off the board. Second down and 12, Notre Dame at the Pitt 20. Jackson, the deep threat, lines up as a flanker to the left side. Howard is split to the right. Out of the eye on second and 12 at the Pitt 20. Come the Irish with quarterback Burline. Short pocket pass over the right side, incomplete for Howard. He just misfired, missed the mark completely. Good thing, because the defender, Troy Hill, fell down when Howard made his cut to the inside.
Oh, you betcha. And when Jackson made his inside move, and by the way, he's not the big guy I told you about. I had him mixed up with another young Notre Dame player. But anyhow, when he made his move to the inside, he was just wide open, because Troy Hill was indeed down on one knee. That had touchdown written all over it, but Burline overthrew. So the ball is at the 20-yard line, third down and 12.
And the clock is stopped at 8:53 left of the third quarter. Third and 12. Notre Dame breaks the huddle. They deploy Howard as a flanker left. Jackson split to the right side. Play action fake to Pickett. Burline back. Pumps once. Fires over the middle. And it's batted in the air, incomplete. A good defensive play for Ray Weatherspoon on the intended receiver, Milt Jackson, who was cutting across near the goal line toward the left side. Coming back against it to defend was Weatherspoon. And I know Coach Fazio is thinking, Spoon, if you can hold on to that.
Oh, boy.
We have the football.
That football was right there for an interception right off his chest, I do believe. And Ray Weatherspoon is kicking himself. But it is fourth down and 12 now, and Notre Dame will apparently attempt a field goal. They trail 14-0.
Kevin Smith to hold. The kicker is Mike Johnston, 8 for 15 on the year. This will be a 37-yard field goal attempt, angle right to left. Notre Dame looking to get on the board. The ball is on the tee. The sidewinder's boot is long enough, high enough, and Johnston kicks the 37-yard field goal, and Notre Dame gets on the board and trails it 14-3. 8:41 left in the third quarter. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Dear Atari, I started selling the new...
Kickoff man is freshman John Carney, 5'10", 170-pounder from Jupiter, Florida. The Panthers deploy two freshmen down near the goal line. Matt Stennett from Shaler to the right side and to the left. I'm sorry, let's double check that. Stennett is to the left side, and Chuck Scales, the freshman from Shady Side Academy, is to the right side. Would they try a squib kick in this case? Let's see what Carney does. Left to right with the breeze, which is about 8 to 10 miles per hour left to right. The freshman approaches the ball. The right foot is through the ball, and it's going to go deep. Back deep in the end zone, the Panthers, Stennett decides to kneel down and take the touchback. So it'll be first and 10 Pitt at its own 20-yard line. John Kingemi was injured in the second quarter, knocked out of bounds after tackled for a loss, and Chris Jellick is the Panther quarterback, also a sophomore. Pitt first and 10 from its own 20-yard line.
So now the Notre Dame defense, which had come into this game giving up an average of only 5.4 points a game over that 5-game winning streak. It's up to the Notre Dame defense to see that Notre Dame controls the momentum.
Out of the eye, the Panthers operate. Flanker to the right side instead of delayed give off the left side. McCall tries to turn the corner. He'll get a couple of yards. He'll meet a wall of resistance, spearheaded by Joe Bars, who stands him up, and it'll be a short gain out to about the 22-yard line. Trying the left side, McCall is denied. Trying to follow the blocking up there, and out in front of him was his fellow backfield mate, and that was Marlon McIntyre, who exits the game, and junior Mark Bailey is in at fullback for Pitt. 14-3, the Panthers lead it. 8:14, the third quarter clock turns as the Panthers face the 2nd and 8 from their own 22. This time, single setback is Mark Bailey. Wing back to the left is McCall. Flanker right is Stennett. Split end left is Wallace. Jellick is back and looking. With time, fires to the sideline. The pass is incomplete. Stennett tried to pull it in. It went off his fingertips at the 28-yard line. The coverage of Troy Wilson was sound, and the Panthers face a 3rd down and 8.
And this is a tough spot for Jellick because he has had so little inexperience, and with Notre Dame getting on the scoreboard here in the third period, they bring the crowd back into this football game. The crowd had been a rather subdued crowd in the first half, so you've got the inexperienced guy who, coming into this game, had thrown only 3 passes this season, completed all 3 of them. He's in a tough spot, Jellick is.
Third down and 8, Pitt from its own 22. Flanker right is sent it out of the I formation. Jellick, deep give to his tailback. Second man through. McCall fights his way to the 25, gets to the 26 for about 4 yards, and is upended there by Tony Progenic, the middle linebacker, with help from defensive tackle John Otry, and the Panther punt team comes onto the field. 4th down and 4. Pitt from its own 26-yard line. And the Panthers now will have to punt it away again, and Notre Dame should get pretty good field position once again, trailing this contest 14-3, 7 minutes, 27 seconds left of the third quarter of play. Darkness is descending on South Bend. Here's the kick by Recchia. It's a good spiral. Howard floats back at his own 33 and takes. Looks for the wall to the right. Gets some running room, 35, 40. He's at the 45 and gets out to the 47-yard line. Notre Dame will have excellent field position right there. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
See the Super Grand Oaks Gang for a super deal on Oldsmobile.
There is a special feel in an Oldsmobile from the Super Grand Olds Gang. 80 dealers strong and 3 states wide. Get the feel. Test drive a new Olds that's priced right for you. And get a coffee mug free. Hurry. Take home 2 tickets to see the Panthers Battle Army November 12th.
For a super deal on Oldsmobile. We're the Super Grand Oaks Gang.
First and 10, Notre Dame from their own 47 after Recchia's 41-yard punt. Spin move, pass to the left side, flip screen, complete to Howard. Howard rolls forward, still on his feet, crosses the Pitt 45, and gets down to the 42-yard line. And that will be enough for the first down in Pitt territory. Flynn and Weatherspoon made the tackle. They threw a flip screen to the left side, and Howard did a good job of following his blockers, cut it back toward the middle, and he gets to the 42-yard line.
And actually, his blockers got out there a little late to set up a screen for him, but Pitt simply was not looking for the play and had nobody over there. So it is a first down. Notre Dame
11-yard pickup to the 42 of Pitt. First and 10. That is where Burline operates out of the I, flanker right. And he fakes the dive and flip screen to the right side. And turning the corner with a football, Milt Jackson is upended. It looked like he was going to keep his feet, but he was trip tackled by Troy Hill, run out of bounds by Tom Flynn in front of the Notre Dame bench. It'll be a pickup into the 37-yard line of about 5 yards on the pass play. Burline to Milt Jackson to the right side. This was not a screen pass. This was simply the quick out.
And Burline firing in the fat, first to the left, now to the right, keeping the Pitt defense off balance. Second down and 6.
At the 37-yard line of Pitt come the Irish out of the I with a slot left formation. Burline, a long count this time. Panthers with a 5-man front. Give Pinkett. He is hit and knocked down at the line of scrimmage. He didn't get anything. Bob Shilkin, the middle guard, was there. Pinching down from his defensive right tackle position, Bill Moss. But Shilkin jammed the play up, took care of center Mike Kelly, and it'll be very little gain, if any. They'll call it no gain to the 37. It'll be third down and 5.
And another fine play by Caesar Aldersert. There had been a hole there, but Caesar Aldersert underneath plugged it up beautifully, and it comes up third down.
At the 37, 5 to go for Notre Dame. Single setback. Pinkett is a wing back to the right to the short side. Burline steps in. He retreats to pass. Looks over the middle of the pass. Is wide open. With the football, Joe Howard is tackled as he gets to the 29. A marker is down. A marker is down at the 43-yard line of Pitt. Now let's see what referee John Nealon decides. Was it roughing the passer? That is my concern.
Well, let's look at the replay on our monitor.
It is roughing the passer. Ray Weatherspoon got back there and hit Burline after he delivered the ball to Howard. Those kind of things hurt. Things right now are going Notre Dame's way. They trailed 14-0 ever since the first quarter. They have a field goal up on the board and are driving for more and definitely have momentum. Ray Weatherspoon goes to the Panthers sideline and gets a talking to from the Panther coaching staff for his over-exuberance. The gain for Howard plus the penalty puts the ball at the Pitt 23-yard line for a first and 10 on the personal foul.
Well, you know, you're coming on that blitz from the outside, and you're almost there, and it's sometimes difficult, not to follow through on the play. So you end up getting hit with the flag.
First and 10 at the 23-yard line. Notre Dame out of the eye with a flanker left in Jackson. Burline spins, fakes the pitch, and gives it to his fullback. Chris Smith, nowhere to go. He may have gotten a yard to the 22, that's all. And another flag flies downfield. A tanglement between Melvin Dean and Milt Jackson. 2 flags are down there. Let's see what they decide. Will that be offsetting penalties? Or do the Panthers indeed get nailed again with a big one? We'll await the call from referee John Nealon. Personal foul, Pitt.
Well, Melvin was pounding him around pretty good down around the 7-yard line. First, he stuck a hand up in his face mask, and then he gave him a clunk on the side of the head with his other hand. He gave him a left and a right, and they say you're not allowed to do that, dear Melvin. So Notre Dame with the first down now at the Pitt 11-yard line. They are trailing, the Fighting Irish, 14-3, but they're battling back.
Remember, the Panthers have given up only 3 points in the third quarter until today. The whole season, now it is a total of 6. They have not allowed a touchdown in the third quarter all season long. Notre Dame first and 10 from the Panther 11-yard line. Burline with a long count. Wide side is to the left. He's back. He throws to the left side. The pass is pulled in at the 5-yard line by Milt Jackson. And he's tackled immediately by Melvin Dean at the 5. And Jackson is getting up slowly. He's got a cramp and trying to take care of it himself. But he gets 6 yards to the 5-yard line, and that'll set up a second down and 4.
Well, he only picked up 6 yards, but he threw that ball about 20, 25 yards, and I mean he had to fire it because there was coverage over there on the far side. So we do see that Burline does have a powerful throwing arm, and the ball now is at the 5-yard line.
John Kajemi did come out of the locker room, but he came out of the locker room well into the third quarter. Whether he'll see any further action remains to be seen. He has been seen warming up on the sideline. Notre Dame second and 4 from the 5. They give out the left side to Pinkett. They've got him, and Pinkett will be stopped by Chris Dolman. He will not turn the corner. The play is whistled down. And Dolman simply spun him out of there, stood him up. They'll give him forward progress to where? The official has yet to mark the ball. They give him forward progress for a loss of 1 to the 6-yard line.
And Melvin Dean had a piece of Pinkett in the backfield, a couple of yards into the backfield. And when Pinkett got away, you figure, ooh, boy, he's going into that corner and he's going to score. But Dolman made a heck of a play like lightning. So, all right, the ball is at the 6, third down. They can get a first down inside the 2.
Third down, we'll call it 5 at the 6-yard. Actually, third down and about 4 is the way the sticks are. The lead stick is at the 2-yard line. 2 tight ends for Notre Dame. Third down and 4 at the 6. Burline. Play action fake. He runs right. He fires for the end zone, and the pass is batted down in the end zone. Great coverage. Alan Wenglakowski, great pursuit on the quarterback with Melvin Dean as everybody was coming, and the intended receiver, Bavaro, was surrounded in the end zone. Tom Flynn was there. Caesar Aldersert was there. It's incomplete. It'll be 4th down, a long 4 at the 6.
Troy Hill was the man who put the early pressure on Burline. He burst into that backfield, and he chased him out of the pocket. And then the others came down on Burline as he let that football go. But it just was not there. Throwing, as you said, Bill, to Bavaro, the big tight end.
Field goal time for Mike Johnston. This will be a 23-yarder out of the hold by Kevin Smith. Angle left to right. Pretty tough angle. The right footer has the ball on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick is through the uprights. It's good. Another field goal for Johnston, and the Irish trail 14-6. 2:55 left in the third quarter. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
When nasal congestion from colds or hay fever bring round-the-clock discomfort, Thrift Drug suggests it's time for Contact.
In this latest Notre Dame drive, we see penalties hurting Pitt. It was a roughing the passer penalty on Ray Weatherspoon that first got the Panthers in the soup along that drive, and then Melvin Dean roughing up the receiver, Milt Jackson, put the ball down at the Pitt 11-yard line. So those penalties did indeed hurt, and Notre Dame is now very much in the ball game. It's 14-6 in the closing minutes of the third period as darkness falls upon the stadium here in South Bend.
The Panthers, in 2 possessions in the third quarter, got out to the 37-yard line. That's the farthest penetration, their own 37. It's a problem they'll have to overcome. Whether John Kangemi, the starting quarterback, returns, we'll have to wait and see. The kickoff man, John Carney, this time puts the ball down between the hash marks. I believe earlier he was kicking from the hash mark. Now he's directly between them. Carney, the freshman, a right-footed soccer-style kicker, will approach the ball. Notre Dame kicking it left to right and trailing 14-6. Pitt has Scales and Stennett at the goal line. And here's the kickoff. It's high and deep by Carney. Stennett will down it, 8 yards in the end zone, and the Panthers will start 1st and 10 at their own 20. We pause for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Hi, this is Jack Bogut. I hope we can both say, I've made the switch. Join me every weekday morning on 1250 WTAE Pittsburgh.
The Panthers start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, and they huddle up. The Panthers lead this contest 14-6. And onto the field comes quarterback Chris Jellick. The backup for John Kangemi, the sophomore from Mount Lebanon, operates out of the I formation with McIntyre and McCall behind him. The give. They fake the counter. Double fake. Rolling right. Jellick looks downfield. The pass is complete. Out to the 34-yard line. With the football out there is tight end Pat Chapani. And Chapani, Clint Wilson gets the first down out to the 34-yard line.
And Pat Ballage, I believe, was playing interception on the play. He's the cornerback over there on the far side, but he couldn't get to the football. Jellick rolling out to his right after faking the handoff, and he hits his target. So maybe Pitt has something going here now. Their first down of the third quarter.
Now they're calling it a 15-yard gain. They spot the ball at the 35-yard line. Wide side of the field to the left. Pitt moving right to left in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from its own 35. They give off the right side, McCall. And they've got him trapped, and down he goes. He'll take a loss on the play of about 2 yards. As he tried to cut it back, his footing gave way, but give credit to the Notre Dame defense. They really had pinched down the outside, and they had bottled up Bill Freilich that time. He couldn't block 3 people. Golick was there. Perjanik was there, and also Ballage in run support, and down he went. They called it a loss. Forward progress to the 34. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Clock winds down to 2 minutes left of the third quarter. Pitt ahead 14-6, and the Panthers trying to get a first down here. They've got 1 first down in this entire second half so far. This is their 3rd possession. 2nd and 11. Play action fake by Jellick. Little dump pass, and it's out of the reach of Marlon McIntyre. The Irish were coming. Mike Golick on coverage, but a good charge that time up front from Eric Dorsey. And having to loft the football too high, Jellick found the incompletion at the other end. It was too tall for McIntyre, and it'll be 3rd down and 11 at the 34-yard line. The clock is stopped at 1:44 left third quarter.
Golick tied up there a little bit by Bill Freilich, and Jellick trying to throw the ball softly over his head, but a little off the mark, so he's now 1 for 4, and he has to hit a few passes to loosen up this Notre Dame defense.
Split end right to the short side is Wallace. Flanker left. Matt Stennett. Single setback offense for the Panthers. Jellick is straight back. As time fires over the middle, wide open, Billy Wallace in Notre Dame territory. First down at the 47-yard line. Wallace coming across the middle from his right deployment. Beat the coverage of Pat Ballage, got underneath it, and Jellick hit him perfectly with a nice pass, and the gain is to the Notre Dame 47-yard line. That is a pickup of 19 yards and a Panther first down.
And what happened was that the Fighting Irish were blitzing. They had 3 blitzers coming, but the Pitt pass protection did just an outstanding job of picking up the blitz. So the receiver was wide open in that vacant secondary, and here is Pitt with another first down at the 47 of Notre Dame.
And 2 tight ends. 1st and 10 at the 47. The give us to the fullback, and with the football plowing straight ahead is Marlon McIntyre. Not much running room. Notre Dame has him surrounded. Autry, Gann, Perjanik. They've got the football surrounded, so the forward surge is all the Panthers got that time, and it was enough for 3 yards to the 44-yard line, bringing up a 2nd down and 7. The clock winds down to 57 seconds, and it turns here in the third quarter. Pitt ahead 14-6. Ball between the hash marks. The Panthers moving right to left here in the third quarter. Chapani is a tight end to the right side. Clint Wilson is a tight end to the left side. Flanker right is Matt Stennett out of the eye. Comes Jellick and his backfield mates. The spin. They double fake it. Rolls left. Pumps one. Gets out of the grass for one man. Looks downfield. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Pat Chapani. A hard hit by the Notre Dame defense. And it is incomplete. What a hit down there on the tight end.
By Chris Brown, the free safety. Boy, he did put a hit on him. And Jellick was in danger of being sacked by the big tackle, Greg Dingens, who seemed to have Jellick zeroed in, but Jellick somehow got away and was able to throw that football. So, okay, third down now and along 7.
That Brown is a hard hitter. He's the one that hit Wallace early in the game. Of course, Brown got the short end of that deal.
Yeah, he came off the field injured.
3rd and 7. Pitt at the Notre Dame 44. Pitt ahead 14-6. Late stages, third quarter. Play action fake by Jellick. Dumps a pass, right side, Marlon McIntyre breaks the tackle and rolls forward just shy of the sticks. He'll be about a half-yard shy. He almost got the first down, breaking the tackle of Rick Naylor, and finally was brought down by Troy Wilson, just shy of the sticks as we eyeball it here, but it's close enough that referee John Nealon may want to measure. Nope, he indicates 4th down. He can see that it's short. Will the Panthers go for it? Will the Panthers punt at the Notre Dame 37-yard line? The Panther offense is still on the field. They're going to go to 2 tight ends, Tom Johnson and Pat Chapani. Meanwhile, that's the end of the third quarter with a score. The Pitt Panthers 14 and Notre Dame 6.
We asked Charlie about Busch Beer.
And with a very green quarterback having to play in this second half, you don't figure to get a lot of opportunities. So you may as well try when you got one. And here the Pitt Panthers have an opportunity thanks to hard running on a swing pass by Marlon McIntyre, who several times today has just run like blue blazes and made yardage where there apparently was none to be made.
This is not yardage. This is a foot or less. It's inches. And it appears to be the length of the football. Sweeney is out over the ball. I formation. Jellick, the quarterback. Jellick takes, then the surgeon. He's got it. He went right over the top of Jim Sweeney, and Sweeney just simply covered up either tackle Mike Gann or tackle Mike Griffin, and Sweeney just laid them down, and over the top went Jellick for what appears to be the first down. He got at least a yard. That's more than enough. Panthers have had a history of having injured quarterbacks against Notre Dame. I vividly recall again the 1977 game when early on, throwing a touchdown pass, Matt Cavanaugh was hurt. Now Kangemi is out. And this time it is Chris Jellick to try to step in. He gets a big first down. 1st and 10 Pitt at the Notre Dame 36-yard line. Out of the eye, flanker left is Darrell Clark. The give is the fullback. Marlon McIntyre fights his way behind good blocking in across the 35 to the 32-yard line for about 4 yards. Eric Dorsey finally made the tackle. But again, a good surge up front gave Mack the running room, and he ran hard and got the 4.
Yes, we're seeing signs that that line is beginning to click again now. And, Bill, you know Chris Jellick better than I. He is a feisty guy, is he not?
He is. He's a tough kid. Led Mount Lebanon to a couple of WPIAL championships. A good athlete, fine punter, and a fine quarterback with a strong arm. Second, we'll call it 6. The Notre Dame 32. They double fake it. This time they go right side. McCall's at the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. McCall is knocked out of bounds as he gets to the 2-yard line by free safety Chris Brown. He ran 30 yards, turning the right side. The Panthers with the counter move. They double faked it, and here came McCall around the end and followed Tom Johnson's block.
And downfield, Bill Freilich. Another big block by Freilich on the cornerback, Pat Ballage. I mean, he bowled him out of there. So it's a run of 30 yards down to the 2-yard line. Yes, indeedy.
They call it a 31-yard run, so it's got to be at the 1-yard line. We call it the 2. They're going to call it the 1. We will not quibble. The important thing is the Panthers are ever so close to the goal line. Everybody digs in. 1st and goal. The spin. McCall goes up. Second effort. McCall goes in for the Panther touchdown. A big touchdown. Joe McCall was hit at the line of scrimmage by Tony Furjanic and just somehow shed the hit, absorbed the blow, and stepped in the end zone with a second effort.
Right, Furjanic caught him in mid-air, but he didn't dump him, and he came down on his feet, and he says, well, let's go again, huh, fella? And he dragged Furjanic into the end zone. Touchdown, Pitt.
The Panthers marched 80 yards to do it, and it was not penalty-aided in any way. Extra point try by Snuffy Everett. the junior from side Mississippi. Out of Kinjemi's hold, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Straight on kicker, Snuffy Everett tacks on the point, and the Panthers lead it by 15 points. It's 21-6. 13:54 left. A lot of time remaining. There's a break in the fourth quarter action, and we'll be right back.
Have you tried Daly's fresh juice products? They're made with blends of choice juices and natural flavors, then fortified with vitamin C. They're a lot better for you than those carbonated beverages and are available in 9 palate-pleasing flavors. And hey, Daly's juices are easy to find in your store. They're the bottles with the juice in the ears.
What are you waiting for? Who could deserve it more? Treat yourself to the fun. There's a Daly's treat for everyone.
The Panthers lead it 21-6 as Chris Jellick, backing up John Kinjemi, marches the Panthers 80 yards in 11 plays. 80 yards in 11 plays. They got 4 first downs. Hard running by Marlon McIntyre and great faking by Jellick set up some misdirection things that sprung it open. And the big gainer, a 31-yard run by McCall from the 32 down to the 1. And then McCall, another big play, a second effort plunge, and the Panthers lead it 21-6.
So Jellick on that drive hit 3 passes and served notice to Notre Dame that he is not a zero back there when it comes to throwing the ball. And indeed, it's often been said of Jellick that he has the strongest arm of any quarterback on the Pitt squad. Pitt has gone through some sort of miseries this year with quarterbacks. John Cummings winning the starting job, being knocked out in the final moments of the opener down at Tennessee, and Kinjemi taking over in the second game and doing remarkably well. But now Kinjemi knocked out of action, so Jellick says, well, I'll show you what I can do. And he hit 3 passes there, and he moved that football team, and Fralick is just amazing. He gets 25 yards downfield and knocks people into the seats. How he gets down there so fast at 290 pounds, I'll never know.
Ryan Court's kickoff. The left footer boots it high to the goal line. Bell takes it behind the wedge across the 5, left side, 10 to 15, out across the 20, but a marker's down back at the 40-yard line, and the Panthers may have been guilty of being offside. A Notre Dame player is injured and down and in much discomfort at the 22-yard line. We can't see who it is right now, and while they attend to him with 13:54 remaining and a penalty marker down, there's a break in the action, and we'll be right back.
Your stockbroker calls.
Jim, it's Tom.
Tom.
Good news about Impact, up 2 points. You were right about them.
That's great. But with commissions,
Has just defeated Iowa State 72-29. That rings around the country in big fashion. The injured player, Hiawatha Francisco, one of the kickoff return people trying to block for Bell that time, is up and okay and off the field. And so the Panthers apparently will have to re-kick and suffer a 5-yard penalty for being offsides on Vinecourt's kickoff.
And I'll tell you, there was a lane opening up the middle on that kickoff that was as wide as the English Channel.
I think the Panthers really miss now Eric Schubert's, because they all year long and for the last couple of years are used to that ball sailing deep in the end zone. Now it's coming down to the goal line, and now the burden is on the Panthers' special teams. Interestingly, Coach Fazio has geared those special teams up with first stringers like Troy Hill and also Tom Flynn, Ray Weatherspoon, Melvin Dean. He wants sure-handed tacklers to try to make the big play, because the Panthers realize that Vinecourt's leg is not simply as strong as Eric Schubert's. And Schubert, Eric, if you're listening, get well, get back quickly. We miss you very much. Vinecourt, the freshman walk-on, the hero of last week's Panther victory over Syracuse, will again kick it off, this time from the 35. And he'll kick it from the near side hash mark, which is the right hash mark. He'll be kicking it left-footed. Let's see if he tries to angle the ball or squib it, possibly. Vinecourt from Cleveland, a freshman walk-on from Parma Heights, Ohio. And they're just waiting now as they deploy at the goal line, Jefferson, Bell, and Miller. That time, Bell on the kickoff return followed the wedge very well. Francisco, unfortunately, got hit by somebody and came out of the ball game, fortunately under his own power. I believe Bill Sapio was the man that got down there and leveled Hiawatha Francisco. 13:54 left. A lot of time remaining. The Panthers lead it 21-6. A reminder to Pitt fans that it's Pitt football ski cap day next Saturday. The Panthers host the Cadets of Army at Pitt Stadium. The first 5,000 youngsters 16 and under will receive a free Pitt football ski cap, compliments of Rack's Restaurants. This is also the last game for $2 youth tickets. They're also available in advance at any Equibank, or you can pick them up at the game on Saturday. It's Pitt football ski cap day next Saturday when the Panthers host the Black Knights of the Hudson. Here comes Pat Vinecourt. After the 5-yard penalty from the 35, he'll boot it once again. The left footer hits a knuckleball this time. The up man will try to field it. It goes out of bounds, and it'll be another 5-yard penalty. And so they'll have to re-kick it at 13 minutes and 49 seconds left of the football game.
So this isn't looking very good, and it would appear that he has a fairly good breeze behind him, and you would have the hope that he might deliver a real big kickoff with that wind. At least as I read it, or do you think that's blowing across the way now?
No, it's not as strong as it was when the game started, but it's still a substantial breeze, Myron. I'll agree with that. It looks like 10 to 12 right now, left to right, basically, near left to far right. And that's the way Vinecourt is trying to kick the ball from the near left to the far right. That time he kicked it to the left sideline, to the right sideline, and it went OB. He'll kick from the 30.
Well, nobody is leaving this stadium in the fourth quarter. Pitt leading 21-6, but 13 and a half minutes approximately remaining, and perhaps a big bowl bid at stake for both teams. A lot of bowl scouts here today from perhaps half a dozen bowls, so a lot is on the line.
Chris Jellick marched the Panthers 80 yards in 11 plays. Marlon McIntyre, some hard running. Joe McCall, who's having a fine afternoon, had a 31-yard run and then got the touchdown. Vinecourt this time kicks it deep, angling toward the near sideline, but it'll be fielded at the 5 by Bell. Out across the 10, left side of the 15 and 20. Behind the wedge, gets the block to 25, 30, 35, and he's hit and still on his feet, but knocked out of bounds by Bill Sapio as he crosses the 40-yard line. Notre Dame, Troy Hill came in and helped out on the play that time. Melvin Dean was there. Notre Dame will have excellent field position, trailing 21-6 with 13:42 remaining at the 40-yard line.
Well, Melvin Dean on the outside, on the right extremity, was trying to keep the outside closed off. He was staying home, but he didn't stay home long enough, and he allowed some running room there. So Notre Dame is at the 40.
After a 35-yard return of the kickoff by Bell. Out of the eye, Burline, the freshman, operates. Takes. Play action fake. He's going to throw. Over the middle of the pass. Wide open to Joe Howard. Side flips the man, but then slips and falls as he gets to the 44-yard line. And getting there late is freshman Keith Tinsley, and the Panthers will face another personal foul penalty.
Oh, I'll tell you, those major penalties are hurting. You betcha. The receiver had slipped into the Pitt zone wide open, and the hit was clearly late.
Tinsley came in and is caught for piling on, and Notre Dame now will get a big break. A 15-yard penalty on top of the pass reception gets the ball all the way to the Pitt 29-yard line.
So Steve Burline, who in the first half completed only 3 of 10 passes and threw an interception, is getting a little warm. He is now 8 for 20 in this ball game.
Howard got the ball to the Pitt 44-yard line, so that was a pickup of 16 yards. And then the penalty of 15 makes it a 31-yard gain. Melvin Dean is out of there, and Tinsley is on as a cornerback for Pitt. Pickett has 20 carries for 82 yards. Play action fake again. Burline open over the middle. The pass deflected and almost intercepted out of the hands of Troy Benson. Weatherspoon was back there, and cornerback Troy Hill, but the ball was short of their reach, incomplete.
Yes, Troy Hill probably should have had that interception. He made a heck of an interception against Syracuse last week, but he couldn't hang on. Now, of course, if you're the Pitt defense, that's one thing you've got going for you. The freshman quarterback almost bound to throw another interception. Melvin Dean hurt his ankle on that kickoff, but he's back in there now at right cornerback. He had limped a little, I noticed, Bill, leaving the field after the kickoff.
They make a change at split end. Howard is out, and Mike Favorite is in. Burline play action fake. He wants to throw it again. Has plenty of time. Now he wants to run forward. He's at the 30. He's at the 25. Runs left at the 20. He's at the 15. And is hit and still on his feet and gets to the 10-yard line. Burline, with a good effort, scrambled out of the pocket, cut it over the middle, broke it to the outside, and Dean and Quint finally brought him down, but not before he picked up 19 yards at a Notre Dame first and goal just inside the 10.
Well, doggone it, why couldn't he be an experienced guy? Because he had a man open downfield, but he never saw him, so instead he comes through that pass. Excuse me, out the middle, and picks up 19 to the 10.
13:01 remaining. Notre Dame trailing 21-6 has a first and goal inside the Pitt 10. Out of the eye, they pitch it back to Pinkett. He tries the left side, gets a couple of yards into about the 7, where Melvin Dean tripped him up and got his feet, and he fell into the pile at the 7-yard line. He got 3. It'll be second down and goal from the 7. Chris Dolman fell on top of the pile and completed the tackle for Pitt, but Melvin Dean has been given credit for a good job of getting Pinkett's feet out from under him. Notre Dame now brings another tight end on the field. They go to 2 tight. Pitt goes to the Buffalo defense as Wentz comes on as an extra big man, and the Panthers bring out Tom Flynn.
Maybe it's time for a big play by Al Wenglikowski. Let's go, Al.
Second and goal from the 7-yard line. Notre Dame with the ball, trailing. Play action fake. Burline rolls right along the 15. Looks for the end zone. Intercepted by Troy Benson. He wanted to put it down, but he's tackled at the 5-yard line. Another big defensive play for the junior from Altoona, Troy Benson.
And he had to bring it out because he was at the 1-yard line when he picked it off.
Panther getting up slowly was Ray Weatherspoon, but he's okay apparently and will get off the field. There's a break in the fourth quarter action, and we'll be right back.
See the Super Grand Olds gang for a super deal on Oldsmobile.
There is a special feel in an Oldsmobile from the Super Grand Olds gang. 80 dealers strong and 3 states wide. Get the feel. Test drive a new Olds that's priced right for you and get a coffee mug free. Just a taste of what they're offering. Come get that special feel and see why.
Years ago that Troy Benson had his mitts on an interception and couldn't hang on, but now he does hang on. He intercepts that ball at the 1. He brings it out to the 5 as Burline tried to go down the middle. And Troy Benson, once again, is a big gent in the Pitt defense. 12 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Pitt leading 21-6.
Notre Dame players trying to get the crowd vocalized here. Host of Golden Panther followers in the end zone in Section 2 up on their feet enjoying the action right now. And a big defensive play for Troy Benson. Question, can Chris Jellick bring him off the goal line and bring him upfield and get him out of this field possession problem right now?
Well,
field position problem, I should say.
With that 15-point lead, he probably is going to play it close to the vest. You don't look for a lot of fireworks down there, but you'd like to spring it back up the middle and get lucky with it. Maybe get a good hole there and make the sticks, and then you have a little breathing room, and you can be a little more daring.
Okay, let's see how daring they become. Darrell Clark is the flanker to the right side, the wide side. 2 tight ends. Out of the eye comes Chris Jellick. He turns and gives to his tailback. McCall runs into a wall and gets a couple of yards behind the surge, behind Freilich, out to about the 8-yard line. And let's see as they unpile what happens. The entire center of that Notre Dame defense, Mike Griffin, a defensive tackle, Mike Gann, and also for Janik, the middle linebacker, bring him down. But it's a good surge forward for about 4.5 yards to, we'll call it the 9-yard line. We'll call it a 4-yard pickup. It'll be second down and 6. Joe McCall, second effort, but the Panthers gave him some running room thanks to Sweeney, Durando, and Freilich on that left side. Matter of fact, the whole line did a good job. Tom Johnson, Pat Chapani, Tony Brown, Barry Pettyjohn. They do the double fake again, and McCall flips it to the outside, breaks it on his feet, gets to the 15, first down to about the 18-yard line. McCall is tackled by Rick Naylor, but not before he moves the sticks. And the Panthers that time used that little play on the double fake. Good faking by Jellick, and Durando came across and pulled and threw a block that sprung McCall for the first down.
And it's beginning to sound monotonous, but once again, Freilich pulling out of that line, blasting the strong safety Joe Johnson, and I mean blasting him. So Pitt has the ball almost out at the 20-yard line.
Pitt leads at 21-6, 11-14, fourth quarter, first and 10 at their own 19. Jellick with a single setback in McIntyre. Gives to that fullback, picks his hole very well, still on his feet at the 25, down at the 27-yard line. A pickup of 8 yards from Marlon McIntyre again on the backside of Bill Freilich and tight end Clint Wilson. Joe McCall on 18 carries, 109 yards on the afternoon. What a performance by the senior from Miami-Jackson High School.
And the big one was his 31-yard run that set up a touchdown, Pitt's latest score.
Panthers lead it 21-6, 10:40 remaining. McIntyre picks up 8. It's second down and 2. Pitt at its own 27. Single setback. And Bailey gets it. He's through a hole. He's up to the 31st, down to the 34-yard line. Mark Bailey to the 35. Another fine block by Mike Durundo, and another great block by Bill Fralick. Chris Brown, the free safety, dragged him down, but not before the sticks are once again moved left to right upfield.
And that Pitt offense now is fired up. You just got a glance at them down here to see they got something going, and it's the kind of thing that eats up time. The clock keeps going. It's down to 10 minutes and 20 seconds. But they're on fire, it appears.
Bailey, a 9-yard pickup. 1st and 10 at the 36. The Panthers will take a delay of game penalty, not a procedure call. The official indication from referee John Nealon, because the play clock had only gotten to 10 seconds. So it was not delay, it was a procedure call. So the Panthers will eat 5 yards back, take 5 yards back to the 31, and face a 1st and 15. 10:14 remaining. The clock is stopped as the penalty is meted out. Bailey comes in for McIntyre. Wallace goes to the sideline, and the Panthers have McCall back into the lineup. 1st and 15, the Panthers at their 31. We have 10 minutes remaining as the clock begins to move once again. Out of the eye, flanker right is Clark. Jellick, the Panther quarterback, spins and gives to his fullback Bailey. Hard run in the middle, not much room to run, but he gets about 4 yards out to the 35, where he's tackled there by Furjanic and the entire center of that blue-shirted Notre Dame defense. The clock continues to wind at 9:40. Pitt ahead, 21-6. We're in the 4th quarter at Notre Dame Stadium. A fairly quiet Notre Dame Stadium right now, I might add.
Yeah, and this little drive that Pitt has going, if indeed they keep it going, has done a lot to quiet down this crowd. They see that clock winding, and that'll quiet you.
Jellick out of the eye, 2nd and 11 from his own 35. Double fake again, and this time he swings it left side of McCall, who loses his footing and gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's all. Naylor fell down on top of him. And again, running room was provided out there. The blocking was set up, but McCall trying to make the cut around the left end, slipped and fell at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down, 11.
But Barry Pettyjohn, pulling out of the line there and moving to his left, was having difficulty getting rid of a Notre Dame defender, and that kind of slowed things down and gave the running back a problem. So, okay, let's see if Jellick puts it in the air now. He's facing 3rd and long, 3rd and 11.
If he does, I'll bet it's on the roll. 3rd and 11 at his own 35. Single setback is Bailey. Flankers to both sides. Clark to one side and Wallace to the other. Draw play. And here comes Bailey, still on his feet, and he gets back to the 40-yard line. He got about 5 yards. It'll be 4th down and 6, and the Panther punt team will come on the field. Bailey that time showed the ability to break a tackle or two, and then he had to break the big one, which he could not at the 40, because if he breaks that one, he gets the 1st down and more up that left sideline.
Boy, he had those knees pumping so high, he had his right knee up in Joe Johnson's teeth when Johnson brought him down. All right, Pitt has to punt.
4th and 7 from their own 40-yard line. The long snap man is Tony McNally of Stowe Rocks, the senior, out over the football. The Panthers put the helmets on the right numbers. Notre Dame had 10 men, now drop back and only rush 6. And here's the punt by Recchia. It's a bomb. A mortar shot. Howard back, lets it hit inside the 10. It gets down to the 5 and will be down inside the 5-yard line by one of the Panthers downfield under the punt. And downfield under that punt for Pitt, making the play, I believe it was Keith Tinsley. Now, I'm not sure about that. Palmieri made the down? I don't think so. Let's just wait up and hold up on that call.
I can't help you, but it was a 55-yard punt. Boy, I'll tell you, Recchia belted that ball.
There's a break in the 4th quarter action, and we'll be right back.
Looking for Jungle Hunt.
May I have your attention, please?
Well, I'm still not sure. Was it Bill McCormick who fell on it?
He was in the vicinity, but I believe Tinsley, the first man there who touched it, and that's where they rule it down at the 5. I think McCormick ended up falling on the ball at the 3, but because the Panther touched it at the 5, it's ruled down at the 5. So give both McCormick and Tinsley good credit on the play for fine coverage.
Tony Recchia has had to punt 8 times today and has done a fine job. He's punted, I'm sure, at least to his average of roughly 42 yards a kick, and that 55-yarder is sure sweet. 7:45 remaining. Notre Dame at their 5.
Single setback, and they give to, nope, they play action fake to Pinkett. Furline with time, fires it downfield, and the pass is intercepted by Hill. He turns and wheels at the 50, breaks the tackle, picks up blockers, cuts it back. He's at the 40, running laterally at the 35, the 30, the 25, and he's down. Troy Hill is down at the 20-yard line, playing the deep zone. The cornerback just sprinted downfield, and Joe Howard, the intended receiver, not even close to the ball, ranging under it like a center fielder does over a fly ball over his shoulder. Hill pulled in an interception, followed his blockers beautifully, and finally is down as he gets to the Notre Dame 20-yard line. That may send a few folks heading for the exits on this very dark evening at South Bend, Indiana.
And there you have your inexperienced quarterback. He just drops back. He throws it as far as he can throw it. Hill played the ball all the way, saw exactly what was happening. He ran to the outfield wall, caught it nicely, and started off on the return. And here's Pitt.
Loose football. Jellick gets it out of the air and gets it back and is tackled at the 20 for no gain. We pause now for station identification on the Panthers Football Network.
Hello, this is Jack Bogut. How about you and I getting our hearts started together every weekday morning right here on 1250 WTAE Pittsburgh.
7:05. The clock turns. Fourth quarter. Chris Jellick comes up with a big play. He fumbled the snap and pulled it out of the air and fell for no gain. 2nd and 10 at the Notre Dame 20. 2 tight ends, single setback, and Bailey gets a call. Bailey snowed under, and he'll be hit after an advance of only 2 or 3 yards by defensive tackle Mike Gann. But the important thing is the precious seconds for Notre Dame are slipping away to 6:39 and counting.
And even if you have to settle for a field goal here, that would pretty much be the clincher. An 18-point lead. Right now, 15 points. Well, it's always possible. Notre Dame can score 2 touchdowns, go both times for the 2 points, come up with 16 points, win the ball game. So, all right, I'll take a field goal here. But right now, it's only 3rd down and 8 at the 17, the 18 maker.
Jellick wants a timeout. He comes out, looks things over, does not like what he sees, and I'm not so sure whether he doesn't like his own alignment or whether he didn't like what Notre Dame was sitting in, and he just decides, and very wisely so, to go over to the sideline, use up a timeout. The Panthers have 2 remaining, and the Panthers with a 21-6 lead will talk it over. There's a break in the fourth quarter action, and we'll be right back.
All right, the Panthers face 3rd down and 8. Meantime, Blair Keel is warming up on the sidelines for Notre Dame. Spurline threw 23 times in this game, completed only 8, threw 3 interceptions. So when Notre Dame gets the ball back, apparently they're going to go to Blair Kill. Meantime, here's a chance for the Pitt Panthers to tack on the insurance point.
The ball is at the Notre Dame 17.5-yard line. The Panthers face a 3rd and long with 6:13 remaining. The ball is on the 17.5 on the left side, hash mark Pitt moving left to right in the fourth quarter. Out of the eye comes Jellick. Pitches back to the short side. Cutting back Joe McCall. Knifes in there for a few yards. Gets inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line, but he'll be about 3 yards short of the sticks. Tackle for Notre Dame made by Mike Gann and Mike Golick on the left side of that defense. Actually, they flopped, so they were on the right side in this particular case. And are the Panthers going to bring the field goal unit on with a 4th and 3? Right now, it appears no. Jellick remains on the field.
That's a good size 3 yards, too.
5:42, the clock turns. Notre Dame has all 3 timeouts left. Notre Dame is warming up Blair Keel. Now, will the Panthers bring the punt team on? Nope, they're going to go for it. On 4th and 3. Pitch back. McCall, knifes in there, but he's hit. Does he get the necessary yardage? It's very close.
It's close indeed.
It is very close, near the 10-yard line. It appears that he's short, about a half a yard, maybe a yard. So Notre Dame takes over on downs, 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. So the Panthers try to go for it on 4th and 3, and McCall is hit for basically about a 2-yard gain. The ball goes over to Notre Dame at the 11-yard line, and Blair Keel, the senior quarterback, is in there in relief of freshman Steve Berline. He's got 5:27 left and 3 timeouts, trailing by 15 points. Pitch back, Pinkett, the ever-dangerous one. Tries to turn the corner, and Spoon has him and knocks him down for a loss on the play. The Pitt defense is playing inspired football. Wang Lukowski has a little bit of push and shove battle with tight end Mark Bavero. Alderstert did a good job of getting in there to upset Pinkett and jamming the play back to the 8-yard line for a loss of 3. The Panthers now with a 2nd down. Notre Dame with a 2nd down and 13.
And that Pitt defense came off a strong game last week against Syracuse, and that is how they have played today. They have hit.
4:53 remaining. Blair Keel gives not be play action fakes to the fullback and a diving catch at the 22 by Joe Howard for a first down for Notre Dame. He play action faked the dive play to the fullback and hit Howard streaking from his left end position, coming across the middle toward the right side. And immediately Howard diving, but a marker's down back at the line of scrimmage. And the indication is the penalty is against the Irish. And they're calling for the ball. And so it will go against the Irish. The pass play Keel to Howard is nullified.
So now the situation, of course, becomes exceedingly distressing to Notre Dame with 4 minutes and 42 seconds remaining on the clock. When you're down in the hole and you appear to get out a little bit and then you're back deeper into the hole on the penalty, it gets depressing. And the ball is now at the 4-yard line, second down and 17, let's call.
And it matters not the call. It was the minor infraction, the illegal block, block call, the 5-yard penalty, but it's half the distance to the 4. So it's second down and 17. In his end zone, Keel wants to throw wide open to the 25. Howard takes it, slips and falls. He'll get it to the 25, and he's got a first down out to the Notre Dame 25-yard line. So on second and 17, Keel hits the mark, and the Panthers, playing a prevent defense, allowed Howard to pull up and grab it for the first down.
Yes, and of course, as much as some of our listeners may detest a prevent defense, when you got a 15-point lead, it can certainly be defended as the proper strategy.
21-yard pickup, Keel to Howard. Now twin receivers to the wide side, Jackson and Howard on the right side of the field for Notre Dame. Out of the eye, first and 10 from their own 25, 4:12 remaining. Keel is back, has time, prevent, fires downfield, deflected and incomplete. Wenglakowski got a hand on it. Flynn was there, Spoon was there. Joe Howard, the intended receiver, didn't get a chance. As Troy Benson also got a hand on that ball, so at least two Panthers. It was Benson and Weatherspoon getting a hand on that batted football.
But Wenglakowski was the guy, and he was 15 yards back in the secondary when he batted that football. Or am I wrong? Was it?
I thought it was Weatherspoon. Turn the 6 upside down. We just missed the replay. Oh, well, we differ.
Well, more than likely you're right, because I don't know that Al would be down there.
Second and 10 at the 25. Keel straight back at 4:05 remaining. Fires it long, right sideline, complete. And tight end Mark Bavaro has a first down out to the 4. Oh, that is Mike Favorite, the flanker, who pulls it in for a first down out to the Notre Dame 42-yard line, a pickup of 17 yards and a first down. And the clock winds down to 4:01. Now 4 minutes as Keel steps in, first and 10 from his own 42. Keel back, pumps once, fires for the sideline, and the pass is complete to the Pitt 45-yard line to Mike Favorite. 2 in a row for Favorite. Notre Dame moving the football, and the clock stopped as he steps out of bounds. 3:52. It would be stopped to move the sticks as well.
So Keel on this drive has thrown 5 times and completed 4 of the passes.
First and 10. Notre Dame now at the Pitt 45-yard line. That was a 13-yard pickup to Favorite. And it followed a 17-yard gain on a pass reception. So it's 2 in a row for Mike Favorite, who comes out of the lineup now, and Milt Jackson is back in. He's a flanker to the short side. Blair Keel, single setback, straight back. His team trailing. Fires a pass over the middle, complete. And with the football is fullback Chris Smith, and he is hit as he gets to the 39-yard line of Pitt by Troy Benson, and that is a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. Steve Berline left the game officially with 8 completions for 20 out of 23 attempts for 108 yards. He suffered 3 interceptions. Keel going again on second down. He has plenty of time. Fires over the middle, intercepted by Troy Benson. The Panthers have the ball back, and that should do it. 3:21 remaining. Troy Benson, 2 beautiful defensive plays, and he certainly is the hero today, just like he was a hero last week.
Well, I suppose he was trying to hit Alan Pinkett down there, but he was certainly not on the money. Troy Benson comes through again. The ball at the 26-yard line.
3:21 left. The Panthers lead at 21-6. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back.
Need help with your answering service? Able One answering service operators.
Well, on Notre Dame's last 2 offensive plays, Pitt had started to try to put a little heat on him by going to the 4-man rush. Actually did not succeed. He still had plenty of time to throw, did Blair Keel. But he threw the ball straight to Troy Benson, who picked up his 2nd interception of the day. He could have easily had 3 today. He wasn't able to hang on to the ball one time, but he has played a whale of a game, obviously, as Notre Dame has turned the ball over now, 4 5 times today, 4 interceptions and 1 fumble, have they not?
Panthers have not turned it over, I do not believe. Is that correct?
Not at all, no. Neither Ace nor Jellick has thrown an interception, and Pitt had a fumble early in the game, but they recovered it. It was Jimmy fumbling a snap, as I remember.
And then Jellick fumbled one here in the 4th quarter and got it back.
Yeah.
From the 25, couple backups. Bob Brown at right guard, Randy Dixon at right tackle offensively. Marlon McIntyre, the bounce play to the outside of the fullback, sweeping the left side, and he gets yardage out to the 30 to the 31-yard line. Is forced out of bounds by cornerback Pat Ballage, which stops the clock at 3:16. 4th quarter remaining. The Panthers lead at 21-6. Mike Dahl is back in there on the offensive line, along with Bobby Brown and Randy Dixon and also Greg Christie. So the Panthers going to some backup people. Is the Iron Man still in there, Jim Sweeney? It would not surprise me. Nope, they're going to go with Pettyjohn, I believe, as the center. Nope, it's, I did not see it. Anyhow, the give is to Mark Bailey into the middle. He gets short of the first down marker by about a half yard. He gets out to the 35-yard line. The clock winds down to 3:07. Tony Magnelli is the center in place of Jim Sweeney. So the Panthers going now with backup people in that offensive line. And while they do that, we must pay tribute to the likes of the Bill Fralics and the Mike Durundos and the Jim Sweeneys, Barry Pettyjohn, Tony Brown, Clint Wilson, Tom Johnson, Pat Chapani. When they had to move the football for the big score, they did, and they moved it 80 yards. Much credit to Chris Jellick as well. Jellick pitches it back, loose football. McCall, did he get it back?
I think so.
It bounced, and he reached down and then dove, and the Panthers will not get the first down. It'll be at the line of scrimmage. No gain at the 35. They need a yard. It'll be 4th down. And with 2:27 remaining, the Panther punt team comes onto the field, and once again, it's up to Tony Recchia. The breeze now just about completely down to, I'd say, less than 5 miles per hour. Long snapper Tony Magnelli is out over the ball. The Panthers will put the hats on the proper numbers. Notre Dame has 9 men on the line of scrimmage, and another man who seems to be cheating his way up to get in position. He does, and he's going to come from the outside on the left. After the Panthers get their assignments, here comes the big rush. Recchia gets it away, and it's a beauty. A marker's down. Back is Howard at his own 23, out across the 25, and he'll run out of bounds at the 31-yard line, but the marker's down, back at the line of scrimmage. 2 of those are down, so we must assume that the Panthers left too soon. At 1:51, Pitt ahead, 21-6.
Keith Tinsley, playing in the Pitt backfield on the left side, moved, I do believe, before the snap, and I suspect that would be the penalty, but let's see.
Panthers incur the infraction nonetheless, and the official signal is motion, as you call it. Tinsley moved ahead of the snap.
Of course, a defensive player, but in the backfield on the punt team.
And a freshman who has played very well. I know in this game he's got hit with a couple of mistakes, but he has played, when called upon this year, especially on special teams, very effectively.
Well,
he's going to be a good one before he's through.
Notre Dame had pulled back a man on the far right side of their their punt rush. He had pulled back, and I guess Tinsley was trying to make an adjustment, moving up now, because his man was gone, perhaps. I'm just guessing at this. So he moved, but you're not allowed to do that. So there's a penalty, so they'll punt again. So there's 1 minute and 51 seconds left, and so Pitt is going to win down here for the first time since 1976, is it?
And that was a memorable occasion. All the talk about Notre Dame gearing up to stop Mr. Tony Dorsett. They let the grass grow, what they call the Dorsett cut. You couldn't see a golf ball in the grass, and they figured it would slow him up. First carry, 61 yards, and the Panthers won 31-10 and went on to win the national championship.
What did he gain, 181?
181 is the number. Matter of fact, he gained 754 against Notre Dame in his career. Back is Howard. To the 24, he takes the punt by Recchia, a good one. Tries to go around the wall. Great tackle by Bill Callahan. As Howard tried to skirt the left end and find the wall, Callahan just said, "You're not going anywhere," and down he went with 1:41. Keel will have to try to come on, and I believe throw the football and get Notre Dame on the board again, but he's got 3 timeouts. He's got 1:41 left, and he's got a 15-point deficit, and he's got 77 yards to go. 46-yard punt by Tony Recchia. Notre Dame 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line, trailing 21-6. Back is Keel, firing the pass near sideline, and it is dropped at the 42-yard line by Mike Favorite. Had 2 hands on it, but as he crossed the sideline, was seen juggling the ball. It's incomplete. Melvin Dean with coverage. That stops the clock at 1:35 remaining. And this stadium has somewhat emptied out. Not as much as you might think. A lot of people kind of hanging in here, but I think some folks have decided that it's time to head for the Indiana byways and highways.
If favorite catches that ball, would that make him a local favorite?
I like it.
You do? I'm glad you do. I didn't myself.
The Panthers are throwing a brick at the Irish. The brick is Walter Johnson, the freshman nose guard from Pahokee, Florida. Back is Keel. Throwing for the sideline, complete to Bavero. Bavero with the football, and Aldershot plays Huggy up with him as he crosses the 36-yard line. He's got the Notre Dame first down on the near sideline at about the 36. That stops the clock at a minute 28.
What did you say Aldershot did? He played Huggy up with him.
Huggy up.
Huggy up?
Yes.
All right.
That's one of my pet expressions.
Huggy up.
At the 36-yard line, Notre Dame.
You also use cattle.
Notre Dame has the first down at the 36-yard line.
Time for some fun.
Keel with a single setback. Straight back. Panthers playing prevent. 3-man rush down to 4-man rush. Aldershot hits the receiver Pinkett as the ball comes in, and down he goes. He'll get maybe a yard advance on the play. And Aldershot has played a magnificent football game for Pitt.
He has played the best game I have seen him play. I'll tell you, he has been all over the field, but he seems to know exactly where that play is going.
Keel is back and throwing for the sideline, and it is complete. With the football for the first down at the Pitt 44-yard line is Alvin Miller, a freshman, and he's knocked out of bounds immediately by Troy Hill. But Notre Dame has the first down at a minute 2, trailing the Panthers 21-6. But they only have a minute 2 left in the football game, and they have 3 timeouts remaining.
And we have seen some nice plays in this ball game today. It's been a good game to watch. A 44-yard touchdown pass, John Conjemi in the first period to Bill Wallace, for example. That was a nifty. And the 30-yard run by Joe McCall. Lots of action.
Back is Keel. In pursuit is Bukowski, firing downfield, and the pass is dropped at the 31-yard line. Great coverage by Troy Hill on Alvin Miller, the freshman receiver. Troy Hill, it's been announced, is the Panther most valuable player defensively, along with Troy Benson. So they are the players of the game for Pitt. The press box is named Alan Pinkett, the Notre Dame MVP, and why not? 55 seconds remaining. Notre Dame with a 2nd and 10 at the 43. Notre Dame trailing the Panthers 21-6. This is a big football game for Foge Fazio, his coaching staff, and this great assemblage of Pitt football players. Back is Keel, firing over the middle, pass complete to Bavero, the tight end. He turns at the 20, still on his feet at the 15, and they yank him down by his jersey at the 10-yard line with 46 seconds left. And making the tackle downfield is Chris Dolman was in pursuit. Troy Hill was down there, Benson was down there, but now Notre Dame without a huddle. Gets the ball inside the Panther 10 at the 9-yard line for a 1st and goal at the 9. Bavero, a big pass reception. Rolling left is Keel. Looking for the left corner of the end zone. It is incomplete. Diving for the football in front of the coverage man, Melvin Dean, was Mike's favorite, but Keel left it wide of the mark. Lorenzo Freeman, the Panther freshman defensive tackle from East Camden, New Jersey, put some pressure on Keel that time and had something to do with the incompletion. It stops the clock at 37 seconds left. No doubt about who's going to win the football game. The Panthers are going to win this football game. The question is by how much? Well, it would take a miracle of miracles for Pitt to lose this football game. Out of the eye, twin receivers to the left. Keel back, looks for the end zone, fires. Oh, batted by Ray Weatherspoon and incomplete. He batted it away from the intended receiver, and that is Milt Jackson at the goal line, and it almost popped into his hands, but it went back over his head. Incomplete. Good pressure by Weng Lukowski, forces another incompletion that stops the clock at 32 seconds.
And I would judge that he was maybe at the 1 or 2 yard line when he missed that interception, and had he not, he might have gone 98, 99 yards because he's coming up that right sideline.
Blair Keel with his second consecutive incompletion. 3rd down and goal from the 9 with 32 seconds left. Notre Dame is at the Pitt 9. Flanker left is Milt Jackson. Split end right to the short side is Howard. Back is Keel. He looks, pressure, fires for the end zone, and it is incomplete. Batted into the air by the first receiver, and that is the fullback, Mark Brooks. And then diving for it was Howard. It was not within his reach. It's incomplete. It's 4th and goal, and the clock is stopped at 27 seconds.
Brooks had it in his hands. A reaching catch it would have been, but he couldn't hang on to the football. So Blair Keel, coming in just these last few minutes, has thrown 15 times and completed 9.
Good pass rush that time. Forced Keel to throw it off the mark just slightly. And that's why the ball was deflected up in the air. Notre Dame obviously trailing by 15, goes for it on 4th and goal from the 9. Keel with receivers everywhere. Rolls left, being chased, fires it to the 6-yard line. Pinkett gets into the end zone. Broke the tackle by Caesar Aldersert with 22 seconds left. Now things get interesting because Notre Dame is on the board. They trail it 21-12. Notre Dame obviously will go for 2.
Yes, they have to go for 2 unless he thinks that a tie might be a good ending, but I certainly don't think they're considering that. They've got to go for 2 points. They trail by 9.
Then obviously Notre Dame will line up and try the onside kick, and then Notre Dame, with all 3 timeouts left, still has a possibility to win this football game, but they've got to be perfect on the execution. They've got to execute the 2-point play in this case, and then hope for all the maximums on the other end.
Again, 22 seconds remaining.
Twin receivers out to the right. Howard and Milt Jackson. The single setback is the fullback. Pinkett in motion to the right. Rolling right is Blair Keel. Throws for the goal line, and it's a 2-point conversion to Pinkett. And Notre Dame now trails it 21-14. And remember, the clock does not move for the extra point try, so the 2-point conversion has the Irish on the board and within striking distance, 21-14.
All right, Blair Keel does indeed make this a football game with his 10-yard touchdown pass. And